before, but none of it was.
But generally healthy.
No red flags. Hot doctor. Real hot doctor.
Here is Brian Haldane.
Blood stuff. .604 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane off and running. Brian here with you. Bree Lynn producing. Starting you off at 64 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge as we broadcast live from the 180 Pros studio. 180 Pros, not your IT provider, your IT partner. All right, y'all, we're stacked up today. I know I say that a lot, but we are stacked up today. Carbon capture debate started at the Capitol yesterday. We're going to dive into that in the 8 o'clock hour. We got Jessica Domangue joining us at 8:05. There are numerous constitutional amendments on your May ballot. One of them, St. George Mayor Dustin Yates wants to speak about. He'll be by at 7:15. 20 minutes from right now, Attorney Franz Borghardt's in the house for Legally Served, and we've got a stack of topics to cover there. So let me stop messing around. Let's get the top stories and trending. You know I know how. Jack Montesette, former Secretary of the Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries, pleaded guilty to playing a role in a kickback scheme involving a statewide department contract, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office. Montesette was initially indicted on 1 count of conspiracy to commit bribery and wire fraud, 3 counts of wire fraud, and 1 count of conspiracy to commit money laundering. This was back in May of 2025. He'll be sentenced at the end of June. A father was arrested for murder after he was accused of shooting his son on Monday, St. Helena officials said. Officials said around 2:05 p.m. on Monday, they responded to shots fired called off Highway 16 out in St. Helena Parish. They found Robert Lee III dead. Robert Lee Jr. was arrested for second-degree murder. The Baton Rouge Area Foundation, in collaboration with the Huey and Angelina Wilson Foundation and the Foundation for East Baton Rouge Parish School System, announced yesterday more than $1.1 million will be available for families accessing early childhood education across the parish school system for the 2026 to 2027 school year. The fundraising effort is expected to help more than 100 local families afford high-quality access to early childhood education and care. Couple of crime stories for numbers 2 and 1 here. First of all, a Baton Rouge man was arrested in Zachary for killing a 23-year-old in a shooting in a Dallas park, U.S. Marshals said. Tay Stevens died after being found in a car with a gunshot wound in April of 2024. Catralin Gerald was arrested after barricading himself in the attic of a Zachary home on 6700 Royal Oaks Court. He was booked into East Baton Rouge Parish Prison for first-degree murder, where he awaits extradition to Texas. A drone helped Baton Rouge police track down an accused Peeping Tom. Jeremiah Celestine was picked up on March 20th on several charges, including unauthorized entry into a dwelling, burglary of a dwelling, operating a place of prostitution, and Peeping Tom. Court records show Celestine has a history of
operating a place of prostitution. You just gonna gloss over that? I'm sorry.
I'm looking down at my paper and I see the arm go reach for the microphone. I'm like, oh, here we go. Yeah, no, I was trying to get through it. Where were we at? Were we at a place of prostitution? I mean, on the sheet.
He's a Peeping Tom,
Peeping
but
Tom.
He's also an entrepreneur.
Right.
Good for
and
him.
He's operating a brothel.
Yeah. Court records show Celestine has a history of aggravated burglary, rape charges, and obscenity dating back 15 years.
Lord. On another note, President Trump is addressing the nation tonight with an update on the conflict with Iran. Okay. We're going to hear from him. Okay.
So I was digging through some sound bites this morning, digging through ABC's news call this morning, and apparently he said it's another 2 weeks.
Okay.
Which I don't want to start to go down this rabbit hole, but there's an early 80s movie starring Tom Hanks and Shelley Long called Money Pit. Remember Money Pit?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Whenever they asked it, and Donald
2 weeks.
Trump's background is in construction, right? And every time Tom Hanks or Shelley Long would ask any of the construction people, how long is this project going to take?
2 weeks. It's like you go to a Chinese restaurant, 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Same thing.
2 weeks.
I'm curious, though. I'm just curious. So we shall see, because right now everything's at a peak.
Mhm.
How can you predict that, though? I don't know.
2 weeks?
Yeah.
You can't. That's why it's such a perfect number.
Yeah. Huh.
2 weeks, maybe 3.
Also, this evening, the Artemis 2 will launch their mission to make a lap around the moon. I'm so excited for this.
So apparently they're flying further away from Earth than any manned astronaut, any manned mission has gone so far. That's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
10-day mission.
But I say, oh no, because remember, all I know is her name was Sunny. And what was it, 2 years ago? Our poor astronauts were stuck on the moon. Remember?
No, they were stuck at the space station, I thought.
I thought they were stuck in
No,
space somewhere.
we haven't been on the moon since
a
the
while.
70s.
Okay. Just let's bring them home. That's all I'm worried about. Apparently, they're going to be up there for 10 whole days.
Yeah.
Okay. Pretty cool stuff. All right. A new study by Wallet Hub says Louisiana is the most stressed out state in the nation. No kidding. I didn't need a report for that.
Are we, though? I don't
would
know.
think so.
So I saw all the news outlets reporting on this like yesterday, and I got this press release about this,
I got it too.
4 or 5 days ago.
Okay.
And I dismissed it because it's one of those stupid, like, I don't know. I'm trying hard not to throw
How do
every
you
other news.
even measure what the most stressed out
Trying
nation?
hard not to throw every other news outlet under the bus, but it's one of those, like, this has got to be a slow news day stories, right? You're exactly right, Franz. How do you put a quantifiable measurement on that? Well, the good folks at Wallet Hub, I'll tell you exactly what they did. I got to dig it back. I got to dig it back up out of my stupid email now. All right, here we go. Did it come from? Yes, it did.
I would almost say the West Coast states are stressed out because it costs so much.
Aren't
to
they
live out
supposed
there.
to be the baked ones?
Yeah, that's true.
Isn't West Coast supposed to be like?
Yeah, that's true. They're
high
happy
as
all
a-
the time, high as a kite.
Yeah, I mean,
I see, but is that what quantifies who is stressed out and who is not?
I was gonna say, what's the measurables?
All right, I've got it right here. I
man,
thought I had it right here.
they stopped serving breakfast at McDonald's at 10:30.
No more
I'm so
24-hour breakfast.
I'm so stressed.
I know I've got it. Hang on.
I think the point is this. That is so clickbait.
Yes,
I mean, like,
that's not it either.
I mean, you're telling me that like Iran's not very stressed out right now,
Right.
Well,
I mean-
Iran's not a state though.
Okay.
That's that. I mean, where Louisiana's the most stressed out state.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought
You
the United
know-
States was the most stressed out country.
well,
Oh no, there's no way Louisiana is not the most stressed out state. No way.
But it's no surprise though, Franz, for real, because we're last in everything. Every poll that comes out.
Well, sometimes being last is, I mean,
Very
are we
true.
last compared to like Mississippi?
Oh no,
I
Mississippi's
thought we were
always
like
worse.
in the neck and neck, baby. I thought we were like education.
Right.
we're middle 30s or upper 30s for education now. We've been climbing the charts, boss.
I love it.
Dr. Brumley's been getting work done, to be sure. All right, I'm not going to find the dadgum.
We'll find it next hour.
Yeah, I have the story in front of me, but it's password protected. Or get a
paywall.
14-day free trial. Whatever. 613 Talk 107.3 FM. Before we take our first break, let me remind you about the folks over at 180 Pros. 180pros.com is the website if you want to check them out online. They are your IT partner, not your IT provider. A lot of folks will tell you all about their tech. 180 Pros, they've got the same IT tech. Well, a lot of folks will tell you all about where they're at on cybersecurity. I'll put the cybersecurity up against anybody. Where 180 Pros makes the difference, things like same-day response time, things like simplified billing, things like making sure that they're walking you through the process as the process happens as well. Learn more at 180pros.com, 180pros.com, or my favorite part, they're local. You can't have a partner if they're not local. 225-330-2200. 225-330-2200 for 180 Pros. I don't know what happened.
So we built specially adapted homes and homes for our troops. And thanks to our donors and supporters, this life-changing gift of freedom is provided mortgage-free to these veterans. But we need you to join us too in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes. Build lives. Life insurance. Hassle, think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes.
You know, these life insurance commercials.
On Big Blue, you heard that one? He has life insurance too.
Can I use life insurance as in vehicle? Like, I want to insure Brian, and I want to get a payout, make myself the beneficiary if Brian, like, does there need to be like a familial relationship? Like, what if I find somebody that I'm like, this person's a high risk, like, good investment? Like, I just want to put down a couple hundred.
That's not insurance. That's a Deadpool.
That's a Deadpool, right? Can I do that? I mean, like, is there something wrong with that? I mean,
Insurers won't write if you're of a high risk.
that's
They
true.
just won't write. You can't get life
But doesn't Walmart life insure their employees, like, to collect if
I want to know who Big Lou is, though, because you heard the commercial, Big Lou's like you. There's 3 Big Lou's that I know of, okay? There is Big Lou from the commercial. There's Big Lou from Fight Club. And then there's Big Lou from
Sopranos?
the song We Can Reminisce Over You.
Okay. No Sopranos character named Big Lou. That's a question. I don't know that.
If there is, he's like a one-off. I don't think there is.
in that commercial.
You don't know where I've been, Lou.
Right. There is no money. Wasn't that something? Yeah, it is.
No, that Big Blue commercial that's been around for like over 10 years. It's old.
I'm here until 7 today.
Woohoo!
Fantastic. Then we could cover all 3. Tiger Woods going to rehab.
Well, okay.
Oh, yeah.
That's what you do. Big Sur, maybe. I'd like to go to a rehab with mountains. But, good ocean
Right.
would be a good ocean would be nice too. Good ocean. Everybody loves a comeback kid, though.
He's a little old to come back.
He doesn't have to come back as a golfer, just as a human being. He can come back.
Oh, Lord.
He was doing okay with golf, wasn't he?
No. He hadn't won anything in years. Took a minute to get going. Took a minute for the weather. Took a minute to get going. Took a minute for the weather. But LSU gets it done in 7 last night. 16-6 your final score. LSU baseball beating Southern out at Ellick Box Stadium. Yeah, there were numerous weather delays throughout. Southern actually got out to an early lead in this one, 6-1. They were out early before LSU started chipping away. Big nights last night for both John Pearson and Stephen Milam. Milam left the yard twice last night, including this dinger in the 4th inning.
The 0-1, Milam swings, and Milam in his second at bat of the night will put this over the fence in right center field. Stephen Milam, we kept waiting for the power to arrive. Well, it's here.
Milam had 2 home runs on the night. John Pearson, he also left the yard in a big way, really stretching out LSU's lead.
Another payoff delivery upcoming. Bagby comes set, now the pitch. And Pearson slams this one on a rope to left field, and bye-bye baseball. John Pearson, home run number 5, a 2-run variety. It is now 12-6 LSU.
12-6. And it would stretch out to 16-6 before it was all said and done. It wasn't that bad of a night out at the, well, I shouldn't say that because I wasn't there, but just weather-wise. And they caught 2 different rain delays. Well, they started off by pushing the start time back because of some weather that was in the area. And then I want to say it was actually right after that. It was after the 4th inning. They had to push pause again. And this was like coming on 9 o'clock at night, 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, because of this tiny, tiny little weather cell that was basically just sitting over like Lee at Highland. And then once it moved on, they were able to get things finished. LSU wins 16-6. They hit the road. They will be at Tennessee this weekend for a Friday, Saturday, Sunday set. Yes, a rare Easter Sunday LSU baseball game coming up this weekend as the Tigers are on the road. By the way, that was Chris Blair you heard on the highlights from the LSU Sports Radio Network. We're coming up on 620 at Talk 107.3 FM. Take a quick break to check the Fox Business Report. We'll check traffic, and then Legally Served with attorney Franz Borghardt is on the way right here on Talk 107.3 FM.
How do you feel about sporting events on Easter Sunday?
Depends on the sporting event. I watch my Mets every Easter Sunday.
I mean, feel good about that? You feel okay with that?
Professional sports, yes.
Okay.
But
like 4th grade baseball, no, sir. So do the Mets play a specific team every Easter Sunday? Or is
no,
it
they're just on. There's a lot
home?
of Easter Sunday is kind of the unofficial, like, I mean, it's not opening day, but it's just, it's just on. It's just there. There's also a golf tournament every Easter Sunday.
Yeah.
So what was I doing with traffic? And I'm going to bang on a live before we get started. So
Bang it out. Bang it. Let the boy watch. Will Ferrell in Eastbound and Down.
Yep.
Beautiful. Just beautiful.
You feel it down in your plums.
just beautiful.
Have you seen the outtakes for that scene?
Yes. Well, they're
Some
trying to
of
keep a straight face.
The
And
ridiculous they were saying. I never realized how much Will Ferrell improvised. But when you see outtakes of stuff like that, and you're like, God, that's where he went with that.
Yeah, there we go, Big Lou.
For nearly 2,000
No matter what part of our great state you call home, Louisiana's elections are an important part of who we are. In 2026, close party primaries will change.
What?
You heard about that Christy Nome crap with her husband?
No.
Weird.
What is it? She plowing other dudes while he watches?
Former Department of Homeland Security Chief Christy Nome is devastated by her husband Byron living a double life where he cross-dresses and chats alone with models. No shit.
Every time I open the app, I can choose to go for my
And he put balloons in his top
Yeah.
to show off on the internet.
is that a statement of love? Like, I love this person so much, I'm willing to put up with
Apparently she
that.
was blindsided. She did-
Oh,
How do
she
you
was
not
blind.
know- How do you not know, though?
How do you not know
Maybe he
what?
was in a double life, but
You-
that should have been our trending.
6:20. We'll make it for next hour. That's fine. 6:23. So, I mean, who cares about going to the moon? 6:23. Talk. I'm sorry, y'all. We've got some off the air stuff happening. It's on Facebook Live. If you're on Facebook Live, where we're at every single day, courtesy of the folks over at Lake Urgent Care. Good times. All right, let's take a look at your traffic right now, starting as we seemingly do every day. I-12 westbound is slow going, coming in from Denham Springs, specifically around O'Neill Lane. As you approach O'Neill Lane, kind of from the Amite River Bridge up to the O'Neill Lane exit, you're going to find stop-and-go traffic. Now, it picks back up again after O'Neill to where it's a little more volume, not congestion, volume, not delays. If you back things all the way up to Denham Springs, you're going to see the normal volume back there. I-10 westbound, we don't have problems on 10 westbound right now, but we do have problems on 10 eastbound. Apparently, there's some road work going on. 10 eastbound, just before, is that Highland Road? It is. 10 eastbound, just before Highland Road. You're going to find some road work going on. So if you're headed out that way, expect some delays to start off your morning. I-10 making your way through Baton Rouge looks good. 10 East coming across from West Baton Rouge looks good. I-110 looks good as well. Back to that road work on 10 eastbound. It's between Seagan and Highland is all that the big board says. Meanwhile, we're also looking at an accident from about 45 minutes ago, 10 East out by Highland Road by the exit itself. So I don't know if those two things are combined, but they're both on the board. So I'll tell you about them both. That's your look at traffic from the Talk 173 Traffic Center. 625, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Attorney Franz Borghardt in the house. We're going to get to Legally Served in exactly 60 seconds. Enough time for me to remind you about the folks over at Industry Makes. IndustryMakes.org is the website. And if you're wondering who Industry Makes is and what they do, well, for far too long, anytime anybody tries to do anything on the industry front in Louisiana, it is met with protests, it is met with misinformation, disinformation, it is met with all kinds of opposition. Louisiana's manufacturing sector and the businesses that support it can no longer stand aside and let others tell their story. What is Industry Makes? It's the return serve. That's what it is. It's the story being told from a factual basis. IndustryMakes.org is the folks in industry in Louisiana, you know, the folks that employ your neighbors, my neighbors, the folks that make all the things that we utilize in our daily lives, from the shoes on our feet to the tires on our cars, speaking back up and saying, no, this is our side of the story, and you should probably hear it as well. In fact, if you visit IndustryMakes.org, hit up the Ambassador Toolkit. You'll get a heck of a lot of great information right there. Learn a whole lot more over at IndustryMakes.org. Time for Legally Served. Ooh, I did it one earlier. Good morning, Franz.
Happy Holy Week.
Happy Holy Week, Franz.
Oh,
Wednesday needs a name.
legally served.
No, I mean for
It's
Holy
April
Week
Fool.
specifically.
No.
Holy served.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing.
That's sacrilegious.
Yeah, it is sacrilegious. But like tomorrow's Holy Thursday and then Good Friday.
The Tridium.
The Triduum begins, yes.
Yeah.
So we need a name for Wednesday, though. Oh. All right. I mean,
We got lots and lots and lots of topics.
Yes, we do.
Do you want cameras at your parks, at your break parks, looking at your kids,
So
or securing the parks?
looking at your kids. Wow. I tell you what, let's go ahead and start there. Breck plans to turn a camera network connected to its parks into a live surveillance system.
Yeah, it does.
The new surveillance system, including more than 1,500 cameras, will have a round-the-clock monitoring center and artificial intelligence to alert operators when people or objects are on the screen. The same camera system used in 77 parks in East Baton Rouge Parish has previously been used to gather footage for investigations. The surveillance system will be set up. It doesn't matter who sets it up. I'm not going to throw their name out there. The cameras won't be equipped with audio recording. Some will allow staff at the monitoring center to talk to people at the park. The real-time response will allow operators to determine whether someone needs to be dispatched, according to Breck Information Systems, according to the system's director. So the long and the short of it is, think of the real-time crime center that the police already have, and now you got a Breck version, which, by the way, can attach back to the real-time crime center that the police have.
Is there going to be like a OnlyFans subscription option for this? You know, if I want to watch kids all day long?
Absolutely not. There's not going to be that.
I know.
This is a private security system.
So I struggle with this one. I'm not, as you can tell, I'm not exactly happy with the idea of our parks being monitored in this way. I understand calmly. I understand the public interest of, hey, these are areas where there could be crime. Whether
traditionally there has been crime,
right? Whether car burglary, theft, property crime, or hey, someone gets brought to the park and murdered. That said, I just it feels a little big brothery. I don't know.
So you're in favor of the two cars that pull into the parking lot at Independence Park after dark to make their drug deal. That's a big thumbs up.
Or it could be prostitution too. Because let's not limit it. Remember our first story in the first. First story.
That's fair. The number of things that can go on in a park when the park is quote unquote closed, because they close at dark, right? But you're not going to have manned security at the. I mean, Breck is doing their best to get rid of a handful of parks here and a handful of parks there, and they're going to start to stack up when parks become obsolete. But let's face it, when it comes to East Baton Rouge Parish, Breck has more land than the Vatican. So
they do have a lot of land.
They do.
Fun fact, I used to be on the Breck Finance Committee.
Really?
Yeah. I served on the committee.
Oh, hang on. We're late. News. Some sort of.
Tag everybody on.
Yeah. The show comes before the social media. Oh.
You know, I don't own a drone. My neighbor owns a drone.
Oh yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, and is into droning.
Yeah,
makes some fantastic photography with drones.
Yes, he does. He also makes some fantastic songs with AI.
Yeah, he does.
My boy, I hadn't seen him in a good minute. Miss my guy. Hey. And
I sit in my backyard.
You watch his drone?
No. I sit in my backyard. I'm smoking cigars, reading, listening to whatever, and I hear a drone, or I hear what appears to be a drone. Well, I live, without saying where I live near the police headquarters, and there's the helicopters. Yeah, and then I'm like, are the aliens here? What's going on? No, drone. But we've weaponized them too. Like, we're using them in war, so that they're a little bit higher tech.
I just want them to deliver pizza.
That would be good. Ready Player One, just drop it off. And I did go. I went to the new ramen place on Government. Can't think of the name of it. Starts with a D. No. This one's near Doe's. And when you order your food with a waiter, a little robot comes to your table to drop off your food.
No.
What?
When you pick up to-go orders, there's a little robot that comes from their kitchen. It's not. It doesn't look like a robot.
Like Rosie from the Jeffersons?
No, it doesn't look like the Jetsons, not Jeffersons. The Jeffersons could probably afford a robot. Fish don't fry in the kitchen. No, that's a different show. Jeffersons were the ones where Jeffersons were the ones where they were moving on up. I forget how they made the money to get all the way up there. Dry cleaners. Jetsons was a futuristic cartoon, and Sanford and Son was a company, a towing company, salvage company with Mr. Sanford and Lamont,
aka Big Dummy. He passed away recently, Lamont.
You know,
So,
for a
like
long,
Rosie from the Jetsons.
yeah, well, kind of, but doesn't look like a robot. It's
More
very,
of an R2D2.
yeah, it's more R2. You got to see it because, like, when it happens, I felt the same way I felt when I was riding in the car that was self-driving, Uber, Waymo, whatever. Like, it happened, and I was like, oh, this is okay. Where's the T2000? I mean, it's just, you know.
Well, I want it to be more like Paulie's robot from Rocky 4. That's what I want.
Yeah.
Renee says Social Bowl in Denham has a robot to bring you food. Where's Social Bowl?
Denim.
I know, but where?
I don't know. I was just going off the clues you gave.
In your big cities, they have all these robots that bring food out.
Big cities like Denim.
Yeah, like Denham.
Dick Durbin, liberal
Such a
Dick
cool name.
Durbin. I saw Franz change his name to Dick Durbin. He must be making porn now. Is your daughter doing the Tritum?
Tritum? Yes.
Yeah, I can't pronounce it.
Yes.
She's one of the rock stars, like oldest daughter. Is she coming into town to do that?
Oh, no. She's retired.
She's retired.
No, middle child has now moved into the roster.
Okay.
Yeah, Abby's doing Tritum.
So my claim to fame is I've made Usher for Saturday, but I can't ush because I'm a confirmation sponsor, which means I get VIP seats. Well, I get reserved seats with my candidate.
Okay.
But for the rest of I'm not getting my feet washed. Friday, just showing up. It's not all about me. It's not. I do get to carry the cross on Sunday, 10:30 mass.
Okay.
These are.
It's
I
not all
like
about
your
me.
face. I like
It's not
your
all about
face.
me.
I like
But
your
here's
face.
here's the opportunities for people to see me. It's not about me.
I'm a
but I want to
broken.
be in front of people.
I'm a broken human being. I'm like Tiger Woods in some respects. You know,
The Asian half got erect, the black half got arrested. Might be the most racist without being racist meme ever.
poor guy. Nobody does a good mugshot, but like
No.
there's nobody does a good mug. There's one human being on the planet who did a good mugshot who later became a model as a result of his mugshot. No, it was a dude. It was a dude. But nobody, to be fair, nobody does a good mugshot.
Okay, Renee. I think I know where you're talking about. It's near the Airborne Extreme place, she said. It's over there by that Sam's and
.636 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Legally served with attorney Franz Borghardt rolling right along. Franz, we're talking about the Breck surveillance system, right?
Yeah.
Which I'm 1,000% in favor of. And you say, what are your hangups with it?
I don't like government entities filming parks. I understand the public safety concerns. I have a child. I don't want my child filmed. That's as simple as it is. I say all that.
Are you going to have your eyes on your child the entire time they're at the park?
Have you seen my child? How can you not have your eyes on your child the
wow.
entire time he's on the park?
My point is, though, if we're going to have a quality park system, we have to have a safe quality park
Breck
system.
is completely legally justified in doing what it's doing.
There's the legal
Let me say this. From a liability standpoint, they are completely justified. One wrong thing happens, they get sued because some parent says, why weren't you surveying?
Right.
Why didn't you have eyes on this park?
That's right.
All right. I get it. I understand it. From a criminal law standpoint, I want there to be as many arrests as possible. I'm a criminal defense attorney.
Right.
I got it. No arrest, no Franzi. It's
So,
just that easy.
Here,
But it troubles me, and I can see a legal argument for a parent saying, I don't consent to you record. Now, after hours when the parks are closed, I got no argument for that.
but anytime that you have a park full, okay, and you want to talk about like, oh, what kind of pedo is going to be watching these videos? My argument would be, what kind of pedos could be on premises from the start? This is the protection end of this. I would rather see
Probably the same kind of pedos.
probably the same kind, but
Yeah.
like they could do more harm in real life than they can by watching a video.
So
So let's get them on video.
I would want to see the crime stats of those parks. Like, what kind of crimes is happening? Are we dealing with kidnapping? And
Mhm.
and look, one kidnapping is way too many.
Correct.
One sexual assault on a park is way too many. Again, if we are talking about after hours, before hours, like nighttime,
Well, like that incident that happened in Central a few months ago, where people broke into the park in the overnight and somebody drowned.
right?
If there were cameras in that park, that would have been picked up.
There would have been somebody.
They would have been met before they hit the water.
Assuming Breck is actually viewing the cameras in real time.
So this is where you could take every single park and funnel it back to one location,
do a ring kind
like
of
Morgan
situation.
Freeman in Dark Knight, right?
Beautiful,
Except instead of
scary.
yeah, but instead of cell phones, it's surveillance
Wrong.
cameras. Well, that was very intrusive. That was personal cell phones.
So I think you could do a motion sensor for after hours, and that would be look. The bottom line
But
is,
I'm on the side. I want them there during hours.
I would like Breck to have security. I would like Breck to
Okay.
have
Now let's talk about what your millage is going to look like when you have to pay security 24/7, or we have to pay for security
You don't think
for
that
every single Breck park that's out there.
you don't think that this is going to cost money?
No,
Okay.
not nearly to the extent of manned
Okay.
security at $75 or $50 an hour.
Okay.
If you're getting detail, probably less than that if you're farming it out to somebody who doesn't have any real legal authority. But no, the number of Breck parks that we have and the number of man hours it would take to get that covered, the difference versus a camera. A camera you don't have to pay health care for a camera. You don't have to pay retirement for a camera. You don't have to pay an hourly rate for a camera. You purchase the camera and then you pay a maintenance on a monthly basis, if that.
Be careful what you fish for. Look, I like being watched. Franz Borghardt, April 1, 2026. I like being videoed. I like being watched. I get it. I understand. I've said at least this will be the third time I've said it.
Mhm.
I understand where Breck is coming from. I understand the legal thought of this is a liability shielding,
Mm-hmm.
which affects Breck's overarching bottom line, right? Somebody gets hurt. I think what's going to be interesting is, where these cameras are probably going to come into play more than anything else is the fight between parents at a sporting event. I think that's going to be where we first see this utilized. It may be after hours, like hanky-panky I said hanky-panky, inappropriate illicit behavior happening on at the park's location. It may be drug dealing, but I think it's also going to be two parents get into it, or a parent assaults a referee.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're going to see that.
Burbank soccer complex, maybe.
Dude, it happens.
Maybe
Yeah.
someone, repping a reverse mullet is just going to throw down.
Okay, we've squeezed that one. We've squeezed the juice out of that one.
Well,
Breck's gonna have their
my
camera.
whole thing is, if God forbid someone's kid gets kidnapped, we have a license plate number on hand already.
I think
we have a make and model of car and color of car and potential description of the captor on hand already.
I think you have very good public interest arguments to justify the
Should we
recording.
have security cameras at airports?
The most live action murder I've ever seen in real time was at an airport.
That was a video. It was
In
a news
1980s.
camera. That was a news camera.
Can you imagine that in modern camera footage? Ooh.
No.
Why don't we have airport cameras for security?
We do.
Okay.
We do. We have many of them.
Yeah.
But for some reason, it's not scrutinized like this.
Well,
But
I
when we
think
go
the difference is you're traveling. You're not in a public recreational.
No,
I
but
mean-
you're in a place where danger is heightened.
Okay.
You're in a place where danger is heightened, specifically after 9/11, and there are different levels of security
we can
scrutiny to
put-
get through because of the target-rich
I
environment.
think we should let the government put cameras in our homes.
That's.
Every single bed. My bedroom
now-
doesn't have any cameras yet.
I know you don't have a legal argument to stand on when you go hyperbolic like that.
I'm just saying.
Cameras that are from parks 2 cameras in our homes. That's where
I'm
you're at.
just saying.
I think they should put microchips in our damn butts. Like, that's not.
Jetsons, not Jeffersons. That was from
That
last
was
segment.
no. It was actually not any
That was
segment.
right.
It was during the break, so the audience has no clue. All right. Well, then we're going to put a button on that one.
Okay.
Because I applaud Breck for doing this. By the
Okay.
way. I think it's fantastic.
I think they're legally okay to do it.
But legal, yeah. But I'm not talking about legally. I'm talking about the environment we live in Baton Rouge, where you've got a police force that's down by 150
But
members.
did they just get a pay raise?
Not yet.
I thought they were getting a pay bump.
If he had watched the show yesterday. No, it goes in front of the Metro Council in a couple weeks.
If I'm not on,
I'm
it's
well aware
as
of that.
if
I'm
it
well
never
aware of that.
happened.
So
I like to be watched.
This,
I think Breck is perfectly just. I'm telling you, the lawsuit, someone is going to sue. Here's the prediction.
for what though?
Invasion of privacy.
Do you have a right to privacy in a public space?
I think you have an argument that if you are in a public park that it invites you for public recreation,
Public
park,
Mhm.
public recreation.
Uh-huh.
I think that there's an argument for you're not signing off on being recorded.
Do you have a right to privacy in public space?
I didn't say it would be a good lawsuit. I think that there will be a lawsuit.
Okay. It's.
Once again, how many times have I said it, Mr. Haldane?
I think
Breck is completely
I think
legally
there will be-
justified.
there will be a lawsuit if there aren't cameras. I mean, it's just.
I think that's the world that we can agree on.
Yeah.
That is the climate we're living in.
Yeah.
Because I do believe Breck is damned if they do, damned if they don't.
Same.
If they don't have the cameras, someone gets hurt.
That I will agree on that front, to be sure.
Yeah.
All right, we got 1 minute till we break. Let's.
Tiger,
No.
you want to go your death penalty? Death penalty?
So, Attorney General Liz Murrell wants to reinstate the death penalty
Yes, she
for a
does.
pair of homicides that happened at a Calendar's restaurant back in 1995. Todd Wessinger was convicted of the 2 counts of first-degree murder in the deaths of restaurant manager Stephanie Gazzardo and cook David Breakwell during a robbery of Calendar's restaurant in Baton Rouge on November 19th, 1995. Wessinger was a former employee of the restaurant. He shot his former co-workers as they begged for their lives, then fled the restaurant with around $7,000. The district court vacated the sentences on the theory that evidence was not presented to the jury that might have affected the imposition of the death penalty sentences. Despite the horrific nature of the crimes, he entered Calendar's restaurant in Baton Rouge with the intent to kill everyone inside, brutally executed David Breakwell and Stephanie Gazzardo, shot a bartender, and then while they were making the 911 call.
This was the Calendar's murder.
Yes. Pause right there on the backside of the break. We're going to check traffic. We're going to check your money now. That's where we're going to pick it back up. From a legal perspective, reinstating the death penalty, that feels like an uphill climb, but should it be done?
What's interesting is that Calendar's did okay. Like that calendar, it was
The one
on
on Perkins near Essence.
Perkins near Essence. It did okay for Calendar's. Ever since that murder, nothing has been able to. I mean, I don't even know what the new business is there, but nothing has made it there.
It killed both
It's
Calendars.
literally across from the Taco Bell. If you're going down Perkins, there is a little turn in on the right. Yeah.
It doesn't look like a restaurant. It looks like an office park,
Yeah.
which I always believed was that was the.
Calendars, not to sound stupid, they serve like sandwiches and stuff like that.
Think
They were like
Applebee.
they were
Think
like a local
Applebee
Applebee's.
with an Italian, maybe a slightly Italian edge. Am I making that up in my brain?
I don't remember.
Yeah, it's kind of an
But
Applebee's.
it's like, yeah, your Panera bread type food. But yeah, like that kind of thing. Interesting.
Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%. And there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment. I'm Johnny Dowell, founder of Western Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families.
I'm not on the chat. I can only imagine what's being said. I can't see that far.
It says, think about the poor Breck employee that has to watch people play frisbee golf and pickleball all day.
And
As bad as having to watch the view.
I don't know what hell is, but hell may be me being forced to watch pickleball. So my mom has dementia. I went and visited her the other day, and they were playing Hallmark Channel. Thank you. Hallmark Channel, Gilmore Girls. And I thought to myself,
She doesn't remember watching it.
oh, she's medicated on Jupiter. I thought to myself, nonstop Hallmark Channel and Gilmore Girls. Maybe this is hell on earth. I do like me a good Hallmark movie. I do like a good Christmas in July.
I don't know why you have to hate on the Gilmore Girls.
I love the Hallmark movie.
Did you used to watch the Gilmore Girls? You used to watch Dawson's Creek, didn't you?
No.
I watched Dawson's Creek.
Rocco texts in. He says, "What the hell does hyperbolic mean?"
You can tell, Rocco, if you're watching, we need to work on your adoration spelling. The spelling of the word adoration.
Look, Rocco
Allegedly, he got a whole bunch of cars last night during teaming. My car was parked in the church parking lot, so I think mine is unscathed. So, hyperbolic.
to go to the
Most extreme and absurd. It actually does surprise me that I don't have any cameras inside my house.
You don't even have like smart.
I have cameras around my house on the perimeter, but I don't have any cameras in the interior of my house.
I should.
The Ring cameras are pretty nice. Like having it
People told me
at a bare minimum.
when someone comes to the front door.
At a bare minimum, having a Ring camera to where you see who's at the front door, who's stealing your Amazon package. That's and it. It's pretty easy to install. You know, you can do a battery powered one, although I recommend if you can wire it, I recommend the wiring ones. But no, I have a lot of cameras around the perimeter of the house, but I don't like inside. There's no hidden Mary statue that has a camera like coming out of it. And no.
Now I installed a dash cam in my car because Baton Rouge people are.
That is, I do endorse people having dash cameras in their vehicles.
.652 Talk World 73 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Legally served with Attorney Franz Borghardt rolling right along. We're talking about Attorney General Liz Murrow wants to reinstate the death penalty, asking the Fifth Circuit to reinstate the death sentence for someone who was convicted of double murder back in 1995. Which can we take just a moment to look at the idea that was 30 years ago?
I was a sophomore or junior in high school.
Yeah.
Because I graduated high school in
I
97.
just got LSU.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
but that is a statement as to how long it takes to put someone to death. I mean, that's a long time.
Yeah. Now, I want to talk about this from a legal perspective.
Okay.
What kind of hurdles does she have to go through? Because I don't want to talk about whether she should or
So
she
the
shouldn't.
assertion by the federal court was ineffective assistance of counsel, that the attorneys representing this guy didn't present evidence in the penalty phase, crash course and death penalties in Louisiana. There's two phases. There's the guilt phase and the penalty phase. If you get found guilty, which candidly, that's generally not an issue, but if you get found guilty of first degree murder, it then transitions into the penalty phase. It is the only crime in Louisiana where the jury makes the decision on the sentence. They have to unanimously decide whether or not to vote death or not death.
Mhm.
If you don't vote death, you get a life sentence.
Mhm.
So that's the background. What the federal court said was the defense attorney or attorneys did not present evidence that they didn't do something they were supposed to do. And as a result of that, he did not get effective assistance of counsel in allowing the jury to make a fair determination of whether or not, and here's the key, in death penalty, it's mitigation. Any piece of mitigation, anything. Oh, you served in the Navy at one point? Okay, I'm going to vote life. Any piece of mitigation that any one juror votes life on is sufficient. But they have to
be clear.
But they have to get the mitigation.
To be clear, the jury did vote death penalty here.
Correct.
So this is a matter of the jury voted death penalty.
Correct.
Then judges step back in and say, that's cool, but we're not going to let that stand.
To be more specific, this is the jury voted death, and another judge said, well, they voted death because this attorney for this individual. Well, I mean, let's not be flippant about it. If you're going to get put to death, you should get effective assistance of counsel. That's fair.
Mhm.
Agree or disagree?
No, I agree with that.
Yeah,
I agree with that. However,
so the federal court, and again, I haven't read the federal decision, but the way it reads is the federal court said you weren't effective in your representation of him, and you did not present evidence to the jury that may have made the jury not vote death.
Mhm.
As a result of that, he vacated the death penalty. He didn't say life. He said, I'm vacating the death penalty. I'm remanding it for penalty. So the state does get a redo. What the AG is doing is they're saying, no, we shouldn't have to do a redo. We're appealing the federal judge's decision because we believe the jury got it right and put him to death. That's the unbiased, I'm against death penalty. That's the unbiased nutshell right there.
right. And it begs the question. And I think Attorney General Merle is pulling back the curtain on a giant loophole in this whole thing. Is that we have a death penalty. We have a trial by jury. He was found guilty and sentenced to death by that trial by jury. You might as well throw out the death penalty if you constantly play what if after the fact.
Well, it's not. You don't play constant what if after the fact.
Dude, it's 30 years later.
Hold on. But here's the thing: if you don't get it both ways, if you want to,
but he's getting it both ways.
If you want to put someone down like a dog and sentence them to death and put them to death, the Constitution, the law says they get effective assistance of counsel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Let the chips fall where they may after he gets effective assistance of counsel. Okay? I don't disagree with you. It sure does seem like justice is retardedly slow. I use the word retardedly as it's meant to be used and not politically incorrect.
No, I understand.
All right. Slow. Oh, like 30 plus years? Almost.
31.
Yeah, 31 years.
Well, we're 30 and a half.
I understand where the AG is coming from.
Right.
I understand where the family might be coming from. The surviving family. I understand that. That's the double-edged sword is you got to do it right or you don't get them to put them down.
The NFL has a better system of instant replay than our judicial system.
Yes. We should have cameras in every single courtroom. I like to be watched.
It's there should be, like, if you can throw your red flag and say, I want that reviewed, this is saying you can throw it again and say, no, do it again.
So remember, every single courtroom proceeding is recorded. There is a record so that the judge was able to see what the attorney did or didn't do.
Mm-hmm.
If the attorney or attorneys failed to present mitigation evidence that might have, I don't know what that mitigation evidence is, but if they fail to present robust mitigation evidence that at least gives him a fair shot. And remember, he doesn't have to convince 12 people of life. He has to convince one person.
No, I know.
It's a much different like game. And I will say this. Tactically, I agree with what she's doing, by appealing the decision before saying, you know what, we'll just go back and redo this. Because if she just goes back and redoes it, you could have another 20 to 30 year delay
Right.
in this decision. So
Right.
I get where she's coming from. It is interesting though, because I don't think most people realize this is the nature of the beast.
Mhm.
If you want to put shy of Borderline was the guy that said, you know what, I ain't challenging this. Put me down.
Yeah.
Put me to death. And even that was kind of like they had to check some boxes on that to make sure they could actually do that.
My whole thing, we're out of time, but
He's going to die natural causes.
yeah, he is. And when you have two families of murder victims and other families that were terrorized on that night, at this point, 30 years later, they still don't have closure. I know.
Right.
He's attorney Franz Borghardt. We do Legally Serve about this time every single week. Always appreciate the time, brother. Next hour, St. George Mayor Dustin Yates, and we talk fuel LSU. That's coming up.
Our friend Wolf listened to the entire segment, and what his takeaway was, I like to be watched. I'm actually, I came off pretty against the recording in court. Well, in just family court. But now that I think about it, I do like being watched, and I actually don't mind performing and doing my job in a courtroom. So turn the camera. No. Turn the cameras on. Let the cream rise to the top, baby. I'm just saying. All I heard Franz say was, I'm like the Rocco po' boy of the legal system. Some people are sandwiches. Some people are po' boy. Rocco po' boy. All right, I'm out.
Later, brother. Have fun.
Yeah.
Now, a check on your drive from the Talk 107.3 Traffic Center.
Vehicle removal is underway on each side of that extended Highland Road exit. What is left of a big accident still working there this morning. Now, the tow truck is there. While that goes on, they have blocked off an additional lane. So you do have at least 2 lanes on the line blocked, perhaps 3. The backup is getting heavier again. It's starting to build back to Cuckoo coming in on 12. All right, well, now, this is sponsored by Credit Karma. Don't let tax refund worries hold you back. File now with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. You'll find every credit and deduction to help you get every refund dollar you deserve, or your money back. Start filing today with the Credit Karma app. This
report comes to you from the Talk 107 Traffic Center.
2026.
Talk 107.3 weather.
.705 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Hour 2 coming your way right now. Brian here with you. Breland producing. Talking constitutional amendments this hour. St. George Mayor Dustin Yates slated to join us in our next segment. We're talking with the folks from Fuel coming up later on in the hour. Right now, though, we're going to start you off with top stories and trending. Take you right back to the traffic center to start things off, though, because it's a pretty big one going on. We were telling you when I did traffic about 40 minutes ago, telling you about an accident that was going on I-10 eastbound. If you're heading towards New Orleans this morning, just beware. There are 2 crashes causing delays on I-10 eastbound. They're both near Highland Road. Apparently, emergency response crews responded to 2 separate wrecks about an hour ago. The first one left 2 people hospitalized near the EBR Ascension Parish line. The second one left 1 person injured. That was just before Highland Road. So we've been looking at delays on 10 eastbound throughout the morning. If you're heading down to New Orleans, might want to scoot around it, take Highway 30 or something, and hop back on at Gonzales. Jack Monisset, former Secretary of Louisiana's Department of Wildlife and Fisheries, pleaded guilty to playing a role in a kickback scheme involving a statewide department contract. Monisset was initially indicted on 1 count of conspiracy to commit bribery and wire fraud, 3 counts of wire fraud, and 1 count of conspiracy to commit money laundering back in May of 2025. He will be sentenced at the end of June. A father was arrested for murder after he was accused of shooting his son on Monday on St. Helena Parish. Officials said around 2:05 p.m. On Monday, they responded to shots fired call off of Highway 16. They found Robert Lee III dead. Robert Lee Jr. was arrested for second-degree murder. Baton Rouge Area Foundation, in collaboration with the Huey and Angelina Wilson Foundation and the Foundation of Free Baton Rouge Parish School System, announced yesterday more than $1.1 million will be available for families accessing early childhood education across the parish-wide school system for the 2026 to 2027 school year. The fundraising effort is expected to help more than 100 local families afford high-quality access to early childhood education and care. A drone helped Baton Rouge police track down an accused Peeping Tom. Jeremiah Celestine was picked up on March 20th on several charges, including unauthorized entry into a dwelling, burglary of a dwelling, operating a place of prostitution, and Peeping Tom. Court records show Celestine has a history of aggravated burglary, rape charges, and obscenity dating back 15 years. What you got?
President Trump is addressing the nation tonight with an update on the conflict with Iran.
Well,
So would this be, he's going to do broadcast coverage, I'm assuming, all the networks? will-
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
much the cut in, just like the State of the Union. I gotta find out if we're carrying it here or not.
That's what I'm curious about.
Well, it's normally we try to, but if it's at a time of night where everybody's at home already anyway, they're just gonna watch it on TV.
Like 8 o'clock at night?
Right. So I will find out. If we are, it'll be posted up all over our social media.
And I'm curious, you said last hour, notable sources are saying 2 more weeks with Donald Trump?
Donald Trump has said 2 more weeks.
Okay.
So yeah, notable source, as in him.
Yeah, as himself.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. We're going to skip one of our top stories from last hour. Former Department of Homeland Security Chief Kristi Noem is devastated by salacious allegations. Her husband Byron lives a double life where he cross-dresses and chats online with fetish models. Breaking overnight. Oh my goodness.
What a train wreck.
I'm just thinking, what? And then the comments all over social media. Oh, Lord.
I bet.
I went down the rabbit hole this morning.
Clearly. So
right.
I don't know what a fetish model is. Well, I guess I can imagine. I can put
like
those
a
pieces
blow
together.
up doll type.
Yeah, like if you're into feet, foot model.
Ooh.
Yeah, that sort of thing. I don't know.
Goodness.
Yeah, or if you're into cosplay or whatever. Like
Lord.
I think that would be considered. I don't know enough to know. But
goodness. Yep. I opened up Facebook. That was on my Facebook this morning. All right. A new study by Wallet Hub says Louisiana is the most stressed out state in the nation.
All right. Got my homework done on this one. And by homework, I mean I pulled it up in the last hour. What did Wallet Hub look at to determine who's the most stressed out there? Okay. Average hours worked per week, where Louisiana's tied for second.
That.
We are some workhorses here.
Yep.
Average commute time.
Oh, Lord, yes.
Average leisure time spent per day.
Okay. I can
Job
see that.
security, unemployment rate, underemployment rate, income growth rate. That's all your work-related stress. Now, money-related stress, and I don't have the breakdowns on all of these. I did see where, when it comes to average number of hours worked per week, we're tied for second with Texas. Money-related stress. They measured median income, debt per median earnings, median credit score, personal bankruptcy rate, share of adults with financial anxiety, economic security score, which is a whole other metric within itself. Share of people unable to save for children's college.
Okay.
Share of adults paying only minimum on credit cards. Share of population living in poverty. Housing affordability. And then you got family-related stress. Separation or divorce rate. Share of single parents. Cost of childcare. Parental leave policy. Parental stress.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's a whole other metric within itself. Share of parents without emotional support. I mean, it just goes on. And then you got health and safety
I could see
metrics
that.
as well. They broke down 40 different metrics to figure out where the most stressed people out there. But none of these metrics talk about your actual outlook in life.
I know.
Like
your actual mental.
Right. Stress isn't about the challenges in front of you. It's about how
you handle it.
Right. And that's not taken into account anywhere. So
I will say this, and I'll leave it here. Financially, in any job I've ever held, we are grossly underpaid. So
throughout Louisiana,
yes, throughout. So I'm communications and marketing. That's my background. Any role I've ever held, if you look nationwide, I should be making $20,000, $30,000 more.
Yeah.
And that's any other job. I would say that's any other job you have or any other career walk here in the state. So I can see their metrics.
Yeah. We get the fourth fewest hours of sleep per night.
Well, did they study Brian Haldane?
They probably I would be hard pressed to find 3 states that sleep less than me. But so we are the most stressed out state, allegedly.
Yeah.
And we beat out Kentucky was number 2, New Mexico number 3, West Virginia number 4, and Arkansas number 5.
But would we be the happiest as well? Because we know how to party down here.
Apparently we're not happy though. That was another study that was done during another slow news day.
Of course.
It's 713 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Let me take a quick moment to remind you about Guarantee Health Solutions. Learn more at Guarantee Health. Oh, I'm on the wrong deadgum page. Hang on. GuaranteeHealth.com is your home base here to learn more about what we're up to over at Guarantee Health. If you work in a medical office, urgent care, primary care, specialized medical office, dentist office, whatever the case might be, take a good look at your relationship with your patients, how they're talking about you online. Take a good look at your systems in the front of house, back of house. Take a good look at your marketing. What are you doing to attract more patients and take better care of the ones that you already have? Guarantee Health Solutions says on their website, we help healthcare providers grow by infusing clinical operations with hospitality-inspired service standards, optimizing your practice while improving patient experience. Learn more at guaranteehealth.com. What you say, sir? Come on over. Oh, you've been good? Oh, yeah. Tired.
I just heard you
Yeah.
don't sleep a whole lot, Brian.
I don't sleep a whole lot. Oh, sorry.
Nice to meet you. That's okay. We've met in other roles I've held. I've worked in news and stuff like that, but it's good to like meet you in this role. Yeah. Nice to meet you.
Very nice to see you, Brian. How long you been here?
Guarantee altogether since December of 2023. I was
Okay.
part-time for the longest time. Then Michelle Souther made me full-time in December, early
Gotcha.
December. I took JP's place. I don't know if you ever met JP.
Yeah.
He
Was he
was
the
a
guy
former
that
producer.
normally
Yeah.
said-
Yeah.
Yeah. He's sweet as pie. But he went on to get like a job at yeah. We do it because we love it.
I hear you. Feel the same way.
I don't know my warden precinct, so I can't pull up the damn ballot yet. Where's my information? Oh, there we are. .716 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. St. George Mayor Dustin Yates in the house. Getting to him in just a quick second. Do need to remind you about the folks over at Neurojust. Neurojust.com is the website. NEUROJUST. Neurojust.com. If you battle with anxiety or depression, you need to know all about Neurojust. They specialize in a type of therapy called transcranial magnetic stimulation. It targets the areas of the brain that affect mood. It's basically like if you don't like the prescription meds, if you don't like the antidepressants, you see diminishing returns, side effects, you don't like the way you feel when you're on them, you want to kick the antidepressants, give Neurojust a call. If the sit down, talk it out therapy doesn't really click for you, if it does, great, stay with it. But if it does not, give Neurojust a call. Start with the website, learn a little bit more about what TMS therapy does. And how they can effectively help you out. They show fantastic response rates in the upper 80%. Anxiety, depression can be a battle, and it can be debilitating. It can knock you down a good bit. That constant fight or flight is just exhausting. Learn more at neurojust.com. All right, Dustin Yates in the house. How are you, man?
I'm doing well, Brian. How are you?
I'm very well as well. Hey, we're going to get into the May 16th election in just a little bit, but
Sure.
Give me a quick overview. How's things going out in St. George?
It's going really well. You know, we've had our public works up and going since October of last year, and that's probably had the most positive impact on our folks. Really starting to see what we're doing with the city from the way that we cut grass to picking up trash to our service delivery models. I had somebody reach out to us a couple weeks ago, thanking us for just fixing a culvert in the front yard, and they said this has been a problem since 2007, and they could never get any fix to it, and we were out there within 4 days and had it fixed. And so it's been nice. It's been nice to be able to really start to have that type of positive impact on our community.
That's good. That's where you want to be and where you want to be moving forward.
That's correct.
Now that being said, you're looking to take on more, and that brings us around to the May 16th election. Way back a decade ago,
Over a decade.
Well, yeah. Over a decade ago, the folks in the southeastern portion of East Baton Rouge Parish decided they wanted their own school district. The Southeast East Baton Rouge Parish School District was what was sought. It went to the petition stage. It went to the state legislature. And while at the state legislature, y'all were told, if you want a school district, you have to form a city. Well, start the process, a decade-plus long process of forming a city. And now here we are in 2026 where we have a city of St. George. So y'all are now going back saying, hey, remember what we started this whole thing for? It's time to get after it.
Yeah, it's really exciting, to be honest with you, Brian. It's a culmination of so much work and so much sweat equity and blood, sweat, and tears that people have put in through the years. It's nice to finally be at the point where the people get to vote on whether or not we have the opportunity to educate our kids. So excited about it. Early voting is May 2nd through the 9th. Voting day is May 16th. It's Amendment 2. We're advocating for people to vote yes on Amendment 2.
The way that it reads, when you look at the ballot, it'll say CA number 2, to grant St. George Community School System the authority to operate a school system. Now, if you click on the little read more, it'll say, do you support an amendment to grant the St. George Community School System in East Baton Rouge Parish the same authority granted parishes for purposes of Article 8, Section 13 of the Constitution of Louisiana, including purposes related to the minimum foundation program, funding for certain school books and instructional materials, and the raising of certain local revenues for the support of elementary and secondary schools. I think it's pretty straightforward. A lot of times when you have constitutional amendments, you get lost in the legalese. But I feel like this one does a pretty good job of telling you what you would be voting for or against.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. It's a yes vote allows the St. George Community School System to exist, and it allows for the funding mechanism, and that's where the constitutional amendment comes up. Mm-hmm. That's a big question I get a lot. Why the constitutional amendment? Why does everybody in the state have to vote on this? And it's simply put is that it's part of the state constitution.
So, okay, let's walk down that path for just a minute, because if I'm inside the St. George School District, then I have a reason to vote for it.
Sure.
If I'm in East Baton Rouge overall, well, then you have to ask yourself, do you want people to have their destiny in their own hands, which I'm a huge proponent of, by the way, then you have a reason to be dialed in on it. If we're outside of East Baton Rouge Parish, the two areas that would be affected by this constitutional amendment, how do we get folks to care outside of the parish?
Yeah, it's a great question. Get that a lot as well. I go back to what we're doing on the city side. Mm-hmm. So we've always said from the beginning with the city of St. George that we believe that we're developing a model that's not only going to be great for the city of St. George, but it's going to have positive impact and could be replicable throughout the state. And we believe that we're going to do the same thing with the school system. So if you want to see real change in government, if you want to see a new way of doing things, first off, we're already doing it with the city of St. George, and it's no longer theoretical. It's actually in place. It's working, and it's actually having a benefit on our surrounding areas already. Mm-hmm. And we believe that the school system is going to do exactly the same thing. So if you're tired of the same old in government, if you're tired of the same old public educational system that you've had, and you don't think it works in your particular area, we have an opportunity here to develop a real model that can be utilized not only within the city of St. George, but other places in the state.
To make this model, are we looking at other school systems within Louisiana or outside of Louisiana? Is there any takeaways, comps that we can look at?
Well, I mean, I think you can look, close to what community school systems can do in their success rates, and we don't have to look really any further than Central or Zachary for that. But we've also looked at some national models as well. We brought in people from all over the country to help develop a plan, post-election, some ideas post-election. So when that first school board is appointed by the governor and superintendent, they walk into the door with a slate of ideas, if you will, and guidelines to kind of go off of to help them form their new school system. So, no, we looked all over, Brian, because we said from the very beginning with the city and now with the school system that we didn't go through this fight for over a decade, almost a decade and a half, to be the most okay city or to be the most okay school system. We want to be the best. And if you want to be the best, you got to look at what the best is doing and try to model that.
Amendment number 2 on your ballot on May 16th, constitutional amendment number 2 on your May 16th ballot would give a thumbs up, would give the folks in St. George the right to form their own school system. I want to talk about a couple of the details. Now, if we're not far enough down the road to know, just cut me off because we're spitballing here.
Yeah.
So Could be. But let's start with this. What current schools would fall into the district? Do we know? Do we have a list?
Sure. So Woodlawn High, Woodlawn Elementary, Woodlawn Middle, Shenandoah Elementary, Jefferson Terrace Academy. Westminster Elementary was a school in the city, but they closed it down last year. So right now that's just a vacant property. There's a few other properties that I know the school board is talking about building schools on, so that could have the potential of being in St. George. And then you also have some charter schools as well. Great Hearts, Kenilworth on Seagan.
Let's walk down that charter school path for just a quick second, because that is something that has dramatically changed over the last decade. The growth and thriving, the number of thriving charter schools that we have in East Baton Rouge Parish right now, and St. George has a handful of. Harvest is a great one, by the way. And not taking away from the others. I get press releases from them, so I get a firsthand look at some of the things they're doing. But has charter schools played a role in the want to have your own school district here? Because they're an option. You know what I'm saying? Like, did it detract anybody from the original mission?
I don't think it detracted anybody. I think it may have changed some opinions on certain things. And I'll tell you what, charter schools get, you either really like them or people are really against them. There seems to be no middle ground. And my only thing with people with that is that, have you ever talked to a kid that goes to a charter school? Because if you actually have a conversation with a child, not a parent, not an adult, not an administrator, go talk to the kids and ask them what their experience is. I haven't had one conversation with a kid where they go, man, I really hate this place, or this really isn't the place for me. But to go back to, and this is, I guess, part of the philosophical model of what St. George could be, is that I don't believe I should have the right to tell any parent where they should send their child to school. I really don't. If you want to send your child to a charter school, send them to a charter school. You want to send them to a public school, send them to a public school. If you want to send them to a magnet school, send them to a magnet school. You want to send your child to a private school, send them to private school, because you as the parent know your child's needs and wants better than I would ever know it. So why would I ever step in that place and try to take that away from them?
And go, like you said, go right to the source. The parents, with the school itself, going to have a positive spin on the school. The parents themselves going to have a positive spin on their decision. The kid themselves, the child is going to give you that firsthand account of, is this really working?
They're going to be honest with you, right?
Not just in what they say, but how they say it.
That's right.
How they present themselves as growing young people. So you're right. Go right to the source. Absolutely. That's sorry. I get distracted with the charter school thing. I do that. I'm a big fan of public charter schools and where we've gone. So I wanted to touch on that. Let's get back to the schools. You listed out the existing schools. Let me ask you this point blank. Is there a need for more within the district? The proposed district?
I think initially there is not. I think over time, as the system grows, for sure, I think you're gonna have to redo some of your current facilities, and I think the need for expansion will happen. I think there's an idea that there's going to be this mass exodus from private schools that go to this system. I just don't see that happening. I think that you're going to have a proven product, which is going to take some time before you see a transition from that. You know who I see being the first kind of early adopters into the system that are currently into the system? Because these are the people I talk to. Parents that live in Ascension, parents that live in Livingston, that used to live in East Baton Rouge Parish, that work in East Baton Rouge Parish, that were forced to move. So they moved. They left the parish they really didn't want to leave because they wanted to send their children to a successful public school system. And those are the people that I talk to that say, hey, when is this happening? Because I really want to move back to St. George. I want to move back into East Baton Rouge Parish. That's where I work. That's where my family lives. That's where I grew up. I feel a pull there, and we're just waiting for that system to come back.
As far as an exodus from existing, like private schools especially, where parents are footing the bill, to see parents actively say, I'm going to take you away from your friends to move you back over to the school. I don't see that happening. But those K-5 schools, 6th grade can see an injection. K-8 schools, Woodlawn can see an injection because you're making a natural transition there anyway.
Sure. I could certainly see something like that. I just, once again, being somebody that had to send their children to private school, the friend deal, the social aspect is a large part of it. But from a parental side of it, my dad's from Missouri. He used to love to say, I'm from Missouri. You have to show me. So you would have to show me that this is a quality product, and we're going to have a great product. but it's going to take several years. And I think that several year time period is going to allow for some of these capacity issues to go away. And look, a lot of this too, there's a lot of fear out there, and anytime there's change, there's going to be some fear element to it. The capacity issue, where's my child going to go to school? The financial piece of it. A lot of these things are the same deals we dealt with on the city side.
Right.
And when I tell people, I said, all the fears that people worried about before we became a city, not one of them has come true. Not one.
No. Yeah, that's crazy.
In fact, it's
right?
been quite the opposite.
We got 1 minute left with St. George Mayor Dustin Yates. Within that last minute, let's talk about the financial end of this. How ready is the city to take this on? I mean, there's going to be a natural transfer of dollars, but are we prepped for it? Or I don't live in St. George, but is St. George prepped for if there's an additional cost that's needed on y'all's end?
Yeah, there's not going to be an additional cost needed. EBR just released some data that our existing schools, they spend $40 million a year on those schools. Just on local taxes alone, St. George brings in $100 million. And that doesn't include any state or federal funding. So we have more than enough dollars locally to support not only what we have, but also increase capacity and increase growth with the existing tax base.
This was the original mission. This was where it all started. And now more than a decade later, it's got a finish line in front of it. Amendment number 2 on your ballot on May 16th, 2nd through the 9th of May, if you're early voting. Amendment number 2 is where you're at for the St. George School District. He's Mayor Dustin Yates. Thank you so much for a couple of minutes this morning.
Thank you, Brian.
Absolutely. 7:30 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Time for us to check news, traffic, and weather. We're talking fuel next.
Question. Basis Matera.
Yep.
Are they in St. George or they're on that cusp that they're not?
Basis is actually in a limbo zone right now because
my babies go to Basis Matera without Mr. Lamb.
Yeah.
Longest Hospital.
So they're actually a type 2 charter. So regardless of what happens with us, it doesn't really matter. They're still a type 2 charter, but that's not a bad thing.
Okay.
That's not a bad thing. I think eventually Basis will be in St. George, but there's some existing annexation.
But where they're at right now, they're like literally on the cusp. Is what you're saying. So eventually, as they zone, they okay. Because I know they're pretty much in Shenandoah. Kind of, not really. Shenandoah's further down. But
they're right there. It's currently unincorporated. So there's a lot of fear with people who have kids in charter schools that it's going to be disruptive, but it's not. And Basis, everything I hear about, it's a great place.
Oh, my kids will love it, night and day.
So I'm telling you, I've never talked to a kid.
Yeah, night and day.
That goes to a charter school and go, man, we
my only downside, the homework at Basis, and the fact that they move academically a grade ahead. So my little boy's in second, he's learning 3rd grade material. But that's not a bad thing. I just got to stay on them.
Yeah.
And he's like, Mama, we did this already. I'm like, I know, baby, but you'll fail if I don't stay on you.
Yeah.
That's my only thing. But that's what makes
That's a good complaint.
Yeah, it's a good complaint. Yeah, but we love it.
Yeah. We're good. All right, Brian. Till next time, buddy.
Yep. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you. Yeah.
So close.
So close.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
All right.
Nice to meet you again and see you again.
What's happening? How you been, man? It's been a minute.
Legislation that increases the penalties against minors for calling in fake bomb threats receives pushback. Jeff Mayer reports Democratic lawmakers are concerned as the also result in the child's parents being fined up to $5,000.
What Charles Representative Wilford Carter? Do you know anywhere else in the law where the parent is held liable? When the parent does nothing, anybody else is
I know Representative Mike Johnson said
But you sit here.
the court's discretion to determine if the child's parents were tied. But Mayor pointed out that he says it's to be boosting up the church violence, disrupting schools and communities to try to find a way to get clear.
Let me go grab some help from upstairs. My apologies. The table it used to be connected to the sidewall here, and it got
Deconnected.
a regular guest who bumps into it a lot.
You can watch how he does it. Speak up. You can hear people speak up in here.
That's my problem. So I speak too low. Yeah.
Brian Haldane rolling right along. Rolling right along. We're talking about the right along property. Rolling right along. Property. Entire time they're apart. Have you seen talk during out? Okay. After hours playing, telling you. So, of course, they are ways to watch. So, Alyssa sent me a couple of notes, but just generally, we want to start with a recap of what fuel is and then move into some changing, like re-upping of dollars from the governor, and then where y'all are headed from here, and of course, what your role is as well. So, all right. That feels easy. Feel like half of Louisiana was in Houston last week.
They were.
It's like just a big old energy convention, basically, right?
And basically it. Globally big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quick question. Did you build your own home or did you purchase a home that was already built? I ask this because if you purchased your home without building it, that bathroom, that master bath wasn't built for you. The closets, not built to your specs either. You could upgrade that, One Bath and Closets is here for you. David Duvall and his team over at One Bath and Closets, they are here for you to make sure that your bathroom is everything you want it to be. I know this firsthand. Late last year, I should say midway through last year, Christy and I decided that we wanted to upgrade our master bath. Our house was built in 1964. It was not a 2026 bathroom. So we decided we wanted to upgrade. That was our Christmas present to each other. Upgrade the master bath. We called David Duvall at 400-8005, 400-8005, and said, what can you do? He came on out, walked us through the entire process. The collaboration was fantastic. I mean, you want to talk about making sure that our wants, needs, and desires were met with each and every square inch of that master bath. He does that. The implementation process, the build out couldn't have been any smoother. As you know, you have construction going on while you're living in a house. That could be a little bit of a pain. Not with David. Made sure to work around our schedules, with our schedules, and got things done in a timely manner. And ever since then, no looking back, babe. Could not be happier with the product that we got. One Bath and Closets, ONE, onebathandclosets.com. All right, it's 7:37 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Time to talk fuel. No, I'm not talking about gas that you put in your car. I'm talking about future use of energy in Louisiana. Want to welcome back to the studio Mike Mazzola. Also want to welcome in Billy Davis. How you fellas doing this morning?
I'm doing great. Third time to be here, Brian.
Third time to be that officially. Okay, so we have that officially makes you a friend of the show, right?
Absolutely,
good friend of the show.
Good.
You're on once you're an acquaintance. Second time you're a friend. Now you're a good friend of the show. Mike Mazzola in the house. I want to start by since that has been the third time. It's been a minute though. So
Yes, it
before
has.
we get started with our conversation about where we're headed, can we do a little recap of what fuel is, how it got started, and where we're at today?
Sure, Brian. Fuel is a major award from the National Science Foundation as part of their Innovation Engines flagship program that is intended to spur new technologies and commercialization of those technologies, not just do research and have it bottled up in the laboratory. So here in Louisiana, we have a leading energy industry for the nation and the world. And we are determined to future-proof this with the by advancing the technology and making sure that the next biggest thing in energy happens in Louisiana.
What are we working on? Because we say innovation ecosystem, that sounds awesome, but let's put it in real life terms. What are we working on?
Our biggest, what we call technical North Star, is to instead of waste carbon, to use carbon in our major manufacturing industries, sort of recycle it. And so, for example, there's a project coming to Wagaman, Louisiana, Cornerstone Energy Park, $700 million direct foreign investment to build a chemical manufacturing plant that turns carbon dioxide and natural gas into electrolytes that are used in lithium-ion batteries that everybody uses. And the key thing about that is that previously it would only consume natural gas, and now we're actually recycling carbon dioxide, reducing the cost, and saving that natural gas for a lot of other uses, like in your home.
Okay, so in the whole, I'm going to sidebar here, right? In the whole carbon sequestration debate, one of the biggest gaps in this whole thing in CCUS, carbon capture, usage, and sequestration, that usage part has been void right now. And it feels like everybody's arguing about what to do when you put CO2 under the ground. The part you're talking about here would have a definite effect on that.
You want a job, Brian? You just explained it perfectly.
This is fantastic, though. This is the question I've had the whole time. It's like, why are we just stuffing it down there? You can only have...
And it really represents what we're really good at in Louisiana. We drive by these plants, they're filled with pipes, but in reality, they're exquisitely engineered manufacturing systems that try to squeeze every possible product out of the molecules they process. And now the technology has advanced to the point where we don't want to throw away the carbon dioxide. We don't want to put it in the ground underneath wherever. We want to use it and save money, make our energy economy more competitive globally, and lead the world.
Okay, this is going to take much, much further. I want at least 2 more segments on that alone. I don't want to go down the rabbit hole because we have other things to talk about here, but that is fantastic news. Love to hear it, but I want the science behind it. I want to learn a lot about this. So we got Mike Mazzola from Fuel on with us, future use of energy in Louisiana. I want to talk about that. I mean, lithium-ion batteries is a pretty big deal. Can't think of anything you're using right now that doesn't take a battery, right?
I'm sitting on one right now.
Got 2 right in front of me right here. But let's go back to the actual point of why we're here today. So where Fuel's at right now, recently some good news, kind of a re-upping, if you will.
Absolutely. That's why I think coming on your show the third time, every time the news gets better.
Yeah.
And so March was a great month for us. On March 3rd, the governor announced the 19 Fast Site Awards. One of our incubator sites, ProofWorks, right here in Baton Rouge, that Billy Davis here is going to tell you a little bit more about, was on that list. On March 18th was Louisiana Innovation Day and the Fuel Annual Coalition. And we announced, to my great pleasure, the first inaugural Founders First Award, awarded to who? Billy Davis, right here. And then on March 23rd, not even a week later in Houston, we enjoyed listening to Governor Landry announce that Fuel will be continued for another 3 years and up to $45 million.
Well, that brings us around to Billy Davis, doesn't it? Yes. How you doing?
Hey, good morning, Brian.
Glad to have you in here today. Glad to be chatting a little bit. So let's get the background, man. What got you to where you are right now in this equation?
Yeah, so I would put it that Mike does the hard work and I get to do the fun work.
Okay.
So I'm an electrical engineer by education, right here out of LSU, and I'm just in a real fortunate position that I get to work with a lot of the companies that Fuel is sponsoring. So Fuel is at foremost an economic engine. And what they're doing is trying to create an ecosystem of companies and technologies that are really incredible and breakthrough. And there's just so much momentum happening in Louisiana right now. And while Mike does the hard work of securing the funding and building the program and creating just a wonderful leadership team that he has, I get to get in the lab with the guys, break out the wrenches, help them with their business plans, help them look at raising capital, all the strategic decisions that they have to make to do that. And just like you mentioned, the utilization of carbon is a big thing for these companies. So I play a mentorship role with a lot of these companies, but also they mentor me. I get to learn from them. I get to inspire them, and they inspire me on a daily basis.
How new is the science that we're looking at? How new is the is there a roadmap forward, or are you drawing the map?
I would say a lot of it is brand spanking new. A big component of what Fuel does, and Mike can talk more about it, is user-inspired research. So what we do is we try to take a lot of technologies that live within the universities. We have great professors all over the planet, but in Louisiana, particularly between LSU, the UL system, Tulane, I mean, there's a tremendous amount of intellectual property that's done in a lab, but we have to commercialize that. We have to get it out of the university system. So a lot of the technology is not necessarily new, but it's new to being commercialized.
Right.
And that's the biggest component to it.
Well, and that's what I asked him about. You give me a real life example. That's what you're use-inspired research leads to real life examples.
That's right.
Pick up on that, Mike.
Well, one of the companies that we like to talk about a lot, Encore CO2, is a spin out of LSU. And it's a really great example of why we're building an innovation engine here in Louisiana, because it's about people and place. So John Flake, a well-known chemical engineering professor at LSU, developed some technology in a laboratory that can use electricity to break up CO2 and create new molecules that we all love, like ethanol. And there was where Proofworks is now building is the old Tin Roof Brewery, and the guy who ran that, William McGee, he was converting barley into ethanol and releasing the CO2. So he and John got to know each other in a gym, and they decided to start a company that would reverse the transaction, convert the CO2 into ethanol. And that's how a technology escapes the laboratory and begins its pathway to commercialization.
One of the things, I'm going to get back to the carbon sequestration debate that's constantly going on. One of the things that gets overlooked is the potential of CO2 being considered a commodity. Are we at a point where we can call it that?
I hate to tell you, but it already is.
Okay. What? Not the arguments going on in the Capitol.
I mean, I know that's the strange thing. Every time we buy a soda, of course, we are consuming CO2, which is a commodity. But a lot of people don't realize that much of the oil economy on the Gulf Coast is driven by an innovative process called CO2 enhanced oil recovery.
Yeah.
And that is powering the extraction of oil from older oil fields by pumping CO2 into the ground and getting oil out.
Well, I see that part we've talked about a lot. That part we've covered, seemingly that superfluid, or what is that the term, right? Superfluid. We covered that, but even with that,
but now
it's not being used. Like
but now the next step, to your point, of is to create processes like what we've talked about that can go into our chemical manufacturing and never put it in the ground at all, but turn it into valuable commodities. So CO2 is going from something wasted and vented into the air into something that stays in the plant and creates money.
As far as the commodity is concerned, I'm always looking for a place to refill my SodaStream canister for sure. But this is so much greater scale. Speaking of scale, I want to go back to Billy real quick. What's the future look like, man? What is there a ceiling here?
Oh, there's no ceiling at all. And what's really incredible is, again, the number of companies that Fuel is catalyzing through their process to create technology in Louisiana. There is no ceiling. And a big component of this is, again, to not just create the ecosystem, but to get these companies to success and then to stay here innovate here and then reinvest here. And that's a big component of what I do, is to try to help them through that capital strategy to make sure they can raise capital and stay here and not be pulled away.
The last time around from the NSF was a $15 million kick. This one tripled.
Yes. Well, it doubled per year is what it did.
Okay.
And we added a year.
Oh, over a 3-year period.
Yes,
Okay.
that's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. The that kind of reinforcement coming in from NSF, which by the way means something completely different in my bank, but that kind of reinforcement, talk to me a little bit about what it takes to cross that threshold to convince them and how you plan to use it.
Well, first, this is a public-private partnership that involves the entire community. And when I say the entire community, I mean all of Louisiana. So we as a state had to come together and write a strategic and implementation plan that says how we're going to get there. Because we've got maybe 12 companies right now. We have to have 60 in 3 short years. So you got to have a plan to use those resources wisely to get to your objectives. That was the major thing that the NSF recognized, that we're on a pathway to achieving really, really important things, not just for the Louisiana economy, but for the national economy. And they rewarded us with continuation.
And we got to get out of here in about a minute and a half. So I'm going to leave the last question up to Billy Davis. And that is, where do you take that from here? What's next steps, man? What does this look like over the next 3 years?
It's really helping these companies succeed, in my view. The engine only works if we have success. And through my experiences of raising capital and my years of entrepreneurship, helping these companies position themselves for venture capital, not just in the state of Louisiana, but to bring venture capital companies into Louisiana to see the value that we're doing. If we can take the current 12 companies that we have, grow them to 20, grow them to 50, grow them to 100, that's the next step.
Unbelievable stuff. Future use of energy in Louisiana. Fuel is what they call it, being run out of right out of LSU. Mike Mazzola, Billy Davis. Thank y'all so much for a couple minutes this morning. Fascinating stuff.
Thank you, Brian.
We are at we blew right past your money now, because that was a lot more about our money in our backyard. So we're going to take a quick break. We come back. We have This Day in History coming up next.
Thank you, Brian. Great interview.
Freaking fantastic. That was awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the follow-up already with because that's been the missing link. That's been the missing puzzle piece. They just shouted at each other.
Come down to Proofworks, which is the old tin roof. I can show you 10 different companies that are using CO2 to create products.
I'm here. Let's go. I'll get with Alyssa about it. I want so much follow-up. It's gonna be ridiculous. So
I can't wait.
Thank y'all.
You all have a great Easter.
You too.
Easter to y'all.
Thank you.
I don't like this. When I talk about I hate politics and I love governance, that's exactly what I'm talking about. That is a real life application of people actually doing shit.
I got a t-shirt that says it actually.
So, by the way, she's the first in the freshman class to get one. No, but I got some other ones. Well, that
one's tied to a budget deficit.
I can get rough all the time. But like, Devilly, I heard, yeah.
I think we can do those.
Y'all, I'm out there picking fights. Not that I'm a fight in, just I'm. You know when a food fight in the cafeteria starts and it's one person threw something and then ducks down and somebody goes, "Who threw that?" And then the whole thing escalates and the wrong person gets blamed. Yeah, I just threw something.
Oh, I can't stand it. Everything's falling apart in here. We're good. We're good. It's just working off this. It throws me off. Hold on. Let me pull up my screen because my computer froze. Okay. All right. We're good.
7:55, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Oh, man. Golly. Okay, yes, I'm a nerd. I understand I'm a nerd. I get that, okay? But that last conversation, Mike's got open invite. If he wants to kick the door in the middle of illegally served.
He's so knowledgeable.
If he wants to bust in on a Rocco segment, like Mike has open invite to interrupt anything except for Dr. Strain.
I know. We love Dr. Strain, but we got to keep Dr. Strain where he's at.
You know what we're doing with Dr. Strain next week?
What we do?
Oh, no, week yet? No, next week. Yeah,
next week, yeah.
Yeah. So you weren't around for this last year, but the Strawberry Fest is coming up.
Yeah.
So we're having the people from the Strawberry Fest in studio, but I'm handing off. I'm going to let Dr. Strain interview them.
Ooh.
I did this last year. It was A, unbelievably informative, B, very entertaining, and C, an absolute train wreck.
That's going to be cherry to the day.
So Thursday, April 9th, get ready for it. We're going to unleash Dr. Strain to be the interviewer, not the interviewee. Time for this day in history.
All right, back in the year 1778, New Orleans merchant Oliver Pollock is widely credited with using the $ symbol in business correspondence, which my kid, no lie, he's starting to learn money at school
You said
now.
in New Orleans?
Yes, in New Orleans.
The $
originated in New Orleans.
Really?
Yes.
And it would be 150 years later, we get Cash Money Records.
He was a major figure in Spanish Louisiana and New Orleans commerce during the American Revolution. That's when that $ came out. So no lie, Brian, my kiddo's learning money. That's where I was going with that.
Yeah.
And he'll get points off. Now he's like, why do we have to use the $? Now I have to tell him, started in New Orleans, you better do it.
The $ was invented in New Orleans.
So you better do it.
Yeah.
All right, 1978, Apple Inc. was founded by Steve Jobs. I cannot believe that.
And Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak.
Yeah.
Today, 50 years ago today.
Ronald Wayne as well. All right.
Yep.
Some April Fool's stuff. 1984, MTV aired its first April Fool's Day prank.
Can I just say on record, I hate April Fool's Day. I hate pranks.
I
They're
hate
so
it.
stupid.
And I'm gullible. I am so gullible.
I'll bite every once in a while. But like, I don't know. I don't get the point.
I know. In 1989, Seattle comedy show. It was a comedy show called Almost Live. It pulled its infamous fake Space Needle collapse. The whole daggum thing just fell apart. But it was the April Fool's gag, and a lot of viewers briefly thought it was real. I had no idea about that. I had to go see if they have video of that. All right. In 2004, Google launched Gmail as an invite-only beta. our beta, excuse me, on April 1st, and it's not an April Fool.
Okay.
What else you got, Brian?
That's it. We got to get the birthdays.
All right. Let me see. Notable birthdays. I don't have any that's notable enough. What you got?
I got 2. I got Debbie Reynolds.
I had her. I just did. Okay.
Born on this day in 1932. And born on this day in 1873, Russian musician Sergei Rachmaninoff.
All right. Let's see. Notable deaths on this day. I have Marvin Gaye.
Oh, that's right.
And Marvin Gaye, unfortunately, passed away on this day. And that's really all I have that is notable enough. And we're going to go with National Day, April Fool's Day.
That'll work. All right. It is 7:59, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. We got news coming up about 30 seconds from right now. In our third hour, we got a lot to cover. State Representative Jessica Domangue's in the House. We're going to talk about what's going on in the legislative session. We're going to dive back into the carbon sequestration debate. Before that, we'll talk about a couple of bills that could affect your insurance. I believe that's what we're talking about. But that's all coming up right after we check news, traffic, and weather. We got Jessica Domangue going to be with us for 2 different segments. And then we got Congresswoman Julia Letlow for DC Current. I got pay.
Really? I think got paid. You saying you got paid? I got paid. Oh, I just said I got paid. I was gonna say, you ready? Come on in. Yeah.
I'm gonna just leave my. Yeah, I got you. And do you mind if I take a couple of pictures, Jessica?
Probably the best angle. You can get behind me and shoot. Yeah, feel free to walk around.
You want me here?
I would, yes, and be careful with the chair. You know, it like slides out. Yeah. And you'll be on the mic. That's on your left.
So no headset, just mic?
She doesn't need a headset.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Brian uses one so he can hear what's
Okay,
going
I
on
used
here.
to use one, and I'm like, and by the way, I'm Lana.
Freeland. Nice to
Freeland,
meet you.
it's nice
Yes,
to meet
it's
you. I
nice to
hear
meet
you every day, and I'm like, okay, finally.
It's like that voice. I know. I'm always saying stupid stuff. And then
No, y'all are fun. I mean, y'all have a
I'm
good
one of your
time.
own Tiger as well. So I get to.
Okay.
It's fun. Let's see. And let me know if it's hot. I'm always cold. Okay.
I just walked by your feeder and I was like,
I'm always cold. Poor Brian's probably roasting.
I'm always hot. Always. And I used to be always cold, and then I had cancer and I had a hysterectomy. And then now I'm always hot. So it's just.
I will, you know, the heated thing in a car. I will
Yes.
sit on it during the summertime. And most of the days.
Did you send talking points for Exxon? For the
No. All right, I'm gonna put y'all on Facebook. So Jessica, do you live in Houma?
I do live in Houma.
Okay, I'm born and raised in Houma.
Oh, good.
Like Sugar Ridge Drive.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Where'd you go to school?
I went to Vanderbilt for
Okay.
2 years, and then my mom went through some health issues, so they pulled me because it cost so much. I
Yeah.
know, and
What year you graduated?
2008. from
Oh,
freshman.
okay.
So I would have been at Vanderbilt
probably the year of Katrina, if memory strikes me correct, 2004, 2005.
Gotcha.
I was at Vanderbilt.
Lana, any legal
My
reform
kids,
bills
my
in
kids go to
particular you
Vanderbilt.
want
My
us
husband
on?
went to Vanderbilt, but he's about 15 years older. So yeah.
Damage cap bill that Kelly came on to talk about in Tennessee, Dickerson, next week in civil law.
There's a bonus.
Was it her
There's
bill?
so many domains.
I don't know the bill number, but it's just Representative Dickerson's damage cap bill. She was on what week before
But there's
last
so
talking
many
about
domains.
it. That will be in
Yeah.
committee next week.
Okay,
Would you pay me my phone real quick?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
There's so many domains.
There's so many domains. I mean, it's
And so many different ways to spell it.
in so many different ways. And
There's
it,
so many different ways. Yeah.
yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
spelling.
it was spelled-
Oh, this is the $500,000 cap.
Yeah, 500,000.
This was. Oh,
Yeah.
I know.
But look, got a hearing on it, so that's good. We're
All right,
not
so
sure how
that's
all
one.
gonna
Are there any others you want?
I think there are more bills maybe coming the week after, but that's so far that's the only thing I've heard that's on the.
Then we can roll with that one, and we'll.
And then just when we talk about
I think-
coastal and peer and how y'all are not involved in the coastal lawsuits and just the.
Mhm.
I think, Brett,
Wait, I'm sorry. Say that again.
Just how we're not involved in the coastal lawsuits. Like
Who's
we've
not involved?
Terrebonne Parish.
Oh.
They,
There are one of the
they
coastal parishes that refuse to get involved.
yeah, and the parish president actually came out and stated that we're not.
I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
Yeah.
And we're gonna get him on one of these segments too.
hmm
Jason.
Jason. Yeah.
Actually, I'll start with that, and then we'll pivot over to the damage cap bill. So,
one person. It's a much different life doing by appealing.
It's like an energizing button at 8 o'clock, getting us going.
I know we've been running every morning,
You-
running or walking or, and so we went.
I
this
thought I saw
morning.
you walking last Thursday.
I probably was. We go on the levee or we go.
I was on
around.
3rd Street.
Yeah, probably so. That was.
I was at a
Yeah, we walked.
upstairs party at a place called the Second Story.
Yeah, we walked.
And Ryan, y'all gonna go live on Facebook in between break or not?
806 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Hour 3 coming your way right now. Brian here with you, Breland producing. We're starting off the 8 o'clock hour at 65 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge as we're broadcasting live from the 180 Pros studio. Is it time for your IT to do a 180? Visit 180pros.com. My weather app's telling me there's some fog out there, although I didn't see it. Well, my driving to work was hours ago, so I guess it wouldn't really apply. But if you're experiencing it, of course, be careful out there. We got a busy hour this hour. State Representative Jessica Domangue going to join us for 2 segments here. And then we've got Congresswoman Julia Letlow before we're all done. Well, DC Current presented by LABI. I know every time we talk with the Congresswoman we've been talking with her, it's been about her current job. It's been about her representation of the 5th Congressional District in Louisiana. But she is a candidate for Senate. And I figure since Congress is on recess, now's as good a time as any to talk about what the campaign trail is looking like. So that'll come up at 8:35. Right now, though, every week or so throughout the legislative session, the great folks at Louisiana Lawsuit Abuse Watch are pairing us up to have conversations about lawsuit abuse and where we're at with legal reform inside the state capitol. Jessica Domangue is joining us for that right now. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing very well. How's the session going? Just very generally.
The session is moving at a very good pace. I feel good about where we are right now. Personally, I've had a few bills come out of committee. I've got 2 on the floor today. So it's been good. Yeah.
And we're just getting started.
We're just getting started. Yeah.
Is it difficult to concentrate when everybody's already mentally clocked out for Easter?
No, we had a really big week this week. And so, I've really been focused on that and I'm focused on my job. And I take my duties here one day at a time and one committee at a time and one bill at a time. So while we're excited, we still have work to do.
All right, let's talk a little bit about it. Actually, before we do that, though, can I completely derail us? because the coastal lawsuits have been an ongoing thing, a generational thing in Louisiana. And when we talk about lawsuit abuse and the folks that, by the way, if you want to learn more about Louisiana lawsuit abuse, watch llaw.org is their website. But one of the things that we talk about is these coastal lawsuits that have been an absolute backbreaker for us and continue to be so. You come from Terrebonne Parish, which you were telling me during the break is not even involved in this?
That's correct. Our parish president and council they actually did a resolution that they would not be participants in coastal lawsuits, and so that they would not continue this litigious environment and these lawsuits that are continuing to just break the back of Louisiana citizens. And so they have come out. I believe Lafourche Parish as well came out and said that they wouldn't participate also.
Really?
Yes.
What's the genesis behind that? Because is it as simple as some parishes are looking for a fat check, or is this a matter of, like, from Terrebonne's perspective, the reasoning behind not participating is what?
So I think there's a lot of pressure on parishes to settle these lawsuits and and there's a lot of attorneys, and I've got friends who are attorneys. I'm not saying anything bad about them, but they sell it as this is your opportunity to get a lot of money for your area,
right?
And so then it of course, as a local municipality, it looks as though this is a chance for us to be able to get, money for our roads or our schools or whatever it is. And so just not knowing that actually settling a lawsuit is part of a legacy lawsuit. And so we can't say we want to get rid of legacy lawsuits, but it's okay to settle a lawsuit. You know what I'm saying? Because it's kind of the same thing, right?
Right.
So, it's just tricky the way it happens. We had the settlement that just came out. And I know there was a lot of money that went to coastal, and we're going to do a lot of projects, which is great for our coast. Our coast is fantastic. But it's this perpetuating this continually, let's jump and sue, right? And let's hurry up and sue whenever there's an opportunity. And I can talk a little bit more about that later.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, it's when you stop and think about it, jackpot justice isn't just for the fender bender. This is jackpot justice on $1 billion scale.
Right.
So,
Exactly.
We got State Representative Jessica Domangue in with us, talking a little bit about what's going on in legal reform in the state capitol. There's one bill in particular I want to focus on today, if we could, and that would be by State Representative Kelly Dickerson. Had her on a week or two ago to talk about this bill. This puts a cap on damages in an accident. Now, we're not talking about the medical. We're not talking about the lost income. We're not talking about repairing your car. We're talking about all the other stuff that's out there, the quote-unquote pain and suffering, whatever. A cap of $500,000. Have you looked at this bill yet? And what's the takeaway?
I have looked at the bill. It hasn't really been a topic of discussion around the Capitol just yet, just because I'm assuming it hasn't been scheduled yet. However, they tried to do a cap last year, and we kind of got in the weeds on it. You know how that happens with some of the bills. And so it is something, and that's specifically for auto, correct? The 500,000. Yes. So I think it's a great thing to go ahead and put a cap on that, because then you're not going to have, like you said, the jackpot justice, where people are just looking for a check and looking for an automatic way to sue.
Well, we have Insurance Commissioner Tim Temple on roughly once a month to talk about just different items that are in his wheelhouse, and this is one of them. There was a bill last year by State Representative Peter Egan from the North Shore, wanted to put a $5 million cap on it, and that couldn't get across the finish line. But I feel like, in watching what other states have been doing over the last year, there is a greater appetite to actually do something here. Is the move from 5 million down to 500,000, is that feasible when you look around at our neighbors and see what they're doing?
I would think so. I would think it would be absolutely feasible. So it will be very interesting to see the movement of this and see how it gets through the legislative process and see where it ends up. But I absolutely think that 500,000 would be feasible.
We're going to break here in just another quick minute. Come back. I wanted you to talk about a little bit of carbon sequestration, because that battle started heating up yesterday, and will continue throughout the legislative session. But before we put a button on this particular one, were there other legal reform bills that you've got your eye on?
We're just watching, especially, we're looking at all of them, and we're just kind of seeing what happens, and especially keep an eye out for that freshman class, because they seem to always bring a lot of good legislation.
Well, yes. This has been a topic of completely separate topic of conversation. But this has been a topic is that this freshman class, it's hard to call you a freshman anymore because you've been through 200 sessions already with all the specials and everything. But there is this, I don't want to say unity, but desire to recognize that each other is actually working for something.
We do. We have a great coalition. We have a great group, and it's been really exciting to be a part of it. We came in to this legislature wanting change. We are probably one of the most reform-minded groups of individuals probably to be in the legislature, in the history of the legislature, because we're doing this for our future and for our children's future, for our grandchildren's future, and we are just tired of Louisiana being last when we have so many great opportunities.
State Representative Jessica Domangue's in with us. We're going to take a quick break. On the back end of the break, when we come back in, we're going to pick up the conversation on a carbon sequestration or carbon capture and sequestration front. Hey, before we hit that break, I want to remind you about the folks over at Mathern's. You know where to find them. They're downtown between 3rd and 4th Street, 3rd and 4th and Main. If you're driving in, the parking lot's on the 4th Street side. If you're walking in, they've got entrances on either side. Mathern's has got you covered as the only full-service downtown grocery store. If you want to stop by to grab lunch, they've got a great deli counter. They've got an unbelievably underrated salad bar, oh, by the way. But not just for lunch. If you're stopping by to knock out the groceries before you leave, if you work downtown and you wanted to knock that out before you left, you can get that done. If you download the Mathern's Rewards app, you can do the order where you order online or you order on the app and they bring it out to you. It automatically factors in coupons. You earn cash towards more groceries every time you shop. 3 locations of Mathern's: Highland Road, just west of Kenilworth; LSU, right across the street from Tiger Stadium; and of course, downtown. It's Mathern's.
So we had a small oil spill about a month ago. It was the loop. They had a break in one of the hoses, and about 750 barrels was spilled. If you think in comparison of BP was 3 million barrels. This is 750. So while it is small in scale, it has affected a lot, and it's this Venezuelan crude oil, which is really thick. It's like these tar balls. So I went out last week in a boat with DEQ and Wildlife and Fisheries and LOSCO, and about 6 hours toured the whole area. There's no effect to the shrimp, to the finfish, or the crabs. However, it is in our oyster beds, and so a lot of my oystermen have lost a lot of their crop, but the lawyers are swarming. So rather than just let it play out the process, it's
That's what we talk about all the time, Brian. It's just this mindset. It's this culture of I'm gonna get a check.
Yeah, and
instead of let me go through the process, like, oh, I'm gonna get a check.
so I talked to one of my oystermen in church the other day, and I said, look, right now our job is to let the process happen. We know that Loop is doing everything that they're supposed to be doing. And if they don't make you whole, that's when we're going to put their feet to the fire.
Absolutely.
But at this point, they've been good stewards.
Yeah.
So the lawsuit stuff just muddies it all up.
Oh yeah, it's just whether nobody thinks about a process or how things should just work. It's automatically like, it's the mindset of, oh, I'm gonna get a check. I'm gonna get a check. And then all this stuff in New Orleans with this Operation Sideswipe thing.
Yeah.
It's our culture, it's our mentality.
It's
gotta change it.
Yeah.
That's why we need people like you in your class. No,
817 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Before we dive back in with State Representative Domangue, want to remind you about the Baton Rouge Metro Airport. Want to remind you about the Baton Rouge Metro Airport. Flybtr.com is the website. Pop back in. Flybtr.com is the website if you want to check them out. Making your travel plans. Maybe you're looking at early summer plans. Maybe you're looking at a last-minute spring break getaway. FlyBTR.com. From the beginning of the partial government shutdown till now, TSA, smooth. Not like it is down the road. Parking, that's now touchless. You can take care of that easy peasy. And oh, by the way, when you factor in the entirety of your travel plans, do a little side-by-side comparison of all of it. Not just a straight-up ticket price. Look at all of it. FlyBTR.com. And oh, by the way, you're also utilizing a fantastic business in your own backyard. Direct flight daily to DC. Leaves out first thing in the morning, comes back in the evening. Don't even have to book a hotel room. FlyBTR.com. All right, time to dive back in to the carbon sequestration debate, which is now, I wouldn't say it's at full tilt over there at the state capitol, but it's definitely started. Where are we at?
So yesterday we had a 4.5-hour hearing in House Natural Resources on HB 7.
Mm-hmm.
HB 7 was the eminent domain, removing eminent domain for carbon capture and sequestration projects.
Okay.
And so that was by Mike Johnson.
Yep.
It was a very heated debate. It was quite interesting. The way that it was portrayed by the honorable representative, and it ended up not passing by, I believe it was a 12-7 vote. I have to go back and look exactly what the vote count was, but it the bill failed, and it actually got involuntarily deferred at the end of the meeting as well.
Okay, involuntarily deferred. Does that mean that, from just a Robert's Rules of Order perspective, does that mean that it's dead?
That means
like dead.
That means it cannot leave the committee.
Okay.
Yes. So you
All right.
always have to remember the instrument is owned by the author.
Yeah.
So unless it's involuntarily deferred,
Okay.
now it's stuck in the committee.
So okay,
Yes.
just because we're not looking at a scenario where sometime late May it pops right back up again and finds its way back into the fold.
No, filing deadline was
yesterday,
6 p.m. So there is no more. Well, I hope there's no more instrument out there, but there could be. There's no more new instruments. There are other instruments that language could be placed on.
Mm-hmm.
However, that specific bill has no more life to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Walk me through a little bit of the debate, because when we talk about eminent domain is scary. It legitimately is. Every private property owner out there has a right to their property. And when you talk about eminent domain, you talk about the scenario is, or what gets envisioned is the government taking your land away from you. Walk me through a little bit about what this bill was trying to do and what the real life scenario is that we're looking at.
So this bill was specifically targeting eminent domain in CCUS projects. So it would remove companies' abilities to use eminent domain. Now, eminent domain in this CCUS debate has been weaponized by the opposition of CCS to scare people, which I don't feel good about the way that's been happening in our communities, because you have these community meetings where people from the groups go and they gather a lot of people and they yell and scream about how the government's going to steal your land. However, they don't have people from the opposing side giving people the actual facts. And the fact is, and there was a wonderful, fantastic attorney that was there that specializes in eminent domain, and she explained it very, very well. The facts is that eminent domain is rarely used. It's rarely used. It's only used really whenever there's a secession issue or something like that. And to take a corporation, and this is anybody's corporation, but to take a corporation's ability to use that ability if there's a secession or anything like that is just not good business, and it's not a good business model to have in Louisiana. Mm-hmm. And so that term has been vilified for the specific CCUS debate.
So walk me through what it would look like where it would be used. You say rarely used. So walk me through what it would look like if it were.
So let's just pretend that they're running a pipeline in Terrebonne Parish, and they have to negotiate with 5 landowners, let's say,
Okay.
right? But landowner number 3, there's about 20 heirs to that plot of land.
Mhm.
So they have to negotiate with all 20 heirs of that land. And so, of course, they're going to negotiate with 1 through 17. But when they get to number 18, they can't find them. They moved away. They can't track them. And so you're missing an heir there. And so then they have to go in and use the law, right, which is called eminent domain, to be able to continue that project based on that heir not being there, right? But
Right.
every single person that's involved in that has been compensated. They sign a contract. They still have use of their property, all of those things. So to say that corporations are stealing land in the state of Louisiana is not right. And the people that are saying that, and I'll say it right now, should be ashamed of themselves, because they are taking advantage of people, elderly people, people with disabilities, because they're having these meetings, they're yelling and screaming all these things, and they're not actually telling people the facts.
So when you talk about succession, what are you talking, like, we have not seen an area where, forget about succession, talk about my house, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's say they want to put a pipeline through Sherwood for some reason, okay? And everybody else on my block is lined up to say, we're good to go, except I'm being a stickler and I'm saying, no, you can't put a pipeline underneath my property. Is there a scenario where eminent domain would be used because I'm the last holdout on a block? Now, if it were secession, that's one thing, but it's me as the landowner saying it. Is that something that we've seen?
So that could be something that you could see. And you could also have landowners that could stop progress and stop projects. However, they're going to choose areas and choose landowners that want to be partners in these things, right? So if there's people who have hesitation or whatever that is, they're going to make sure that those people are educated on what happens. But let's also remember, right? They're not running this underneath your house, right? There's a servitude.
Right.
They're using the place where it's not going to disrupt your quality of life, right? So let's say you have 100 acres. It's not going to be smack dab in the middle of it. If they would negotiate with you, it would be near the servitude, where you're not really even going to be accessing that property for your own personal use anyway, because there's already other servitudes there.
Right.
Yeah.
State Representative Jessica Domain, and we're talking about carbon capture. And the crazy thing is like the eminent domain stuff. I understand the where the fear comes from. I do. But it has nothing to do with the actual usage here, or the capture and sequestration of it. It's a completely separate argument, and it gets wrapped into the argument. And I'm finding the more that we discuss these things, bills that go through the state capitol have to deal with one particular part of carbon capture and sequestration. But the whole argument involves this monolithic, we have to talk about everything or we talk about nothing thing. And I'm going to pick you apart with what about until I find my angle to get in there. Is that, there's not a scenario where that helps the discussion.
No, it's not. And it's become this really tangled web of, we don't know what's real. We don't know what's true. We don't know where it's coming from. And it's all kind of, and I'm sorry, I talk with my hands. It's all kind of enmeshed into one web of this anti-progress, right? And so they put data centers in there, and they put ports in there, and they put LNG in there, and everything. It's all like, it makes people so confused that they don't know what they don't like.
Right.
And so they just don't like everything. And so they really latched on to eminent domain because it goes straight to the heart of the fear of people's rights to property.
And we've had, I mean, and look, my show is open to all sides of the argument, and we've had the other side of the argument on here. And we're talking about people that I like and respect, and it's just on this one thing. It's just this, like, for example, the biggest pipeline that runs through the state. ExxonMobil, zero eminent domain invoked in order to put that pipeline in. The biggest one we have with ExxonMobil, and no eminent domain use. But the argument comes back, well, it could be. Well, that's like benching your starting running back because he could get hurt. No, you get the horses on the field and you run.
Yeah, and we can't legislate on what ifs. It's
All right.
not. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got exactly a minute and a half left. What's the next battle on this front? What's the next big argument in carbon capture?
We have to kind of see there's some other bills out there that other authors have filed. I imagine there's going to be some negotiations with those authors to kind of see what they want to do, see where they want to put these bills. I think that right now we as the legislature and we as leaders in our community really need to go back home and educate people on what these things really are. Right. Educate people on what the facts are, not the noise, but what the facts are. And I think that is responsible government. And that I know that's why my constituents put me here, is because they know that I'll always tell them the truth and I will never lie to them, and they'll always get a straight answer from me.
Well, okay. So in that regard, are you also fighting history? I mean, because we are in Louisiana, that plays into it. But again, freshman class, that does play into it. But again, that's a fear factor, not a fact factor.
It's a fear factor. I've been a representative and an advocate for my area for decades now. I was on our council. My constituents know me. My constituents know they can call me. My constituents know they can pull me over at a community event and ask me questions about what's going on. They've all got my cell phone number. They call me and text me all the time. I would hope that other representatives in the House have that same relationship with their constituents as well.
She is State Representative Jessica Domangue. That's where we're going to have to pick it up for next time. Have yourself a great Easter. Thank you for stopping by.
Thank you.
Here's news. Mike's. Come, Mike's. 737 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Whew. Man, a lot of feedback. Some on the chat, some straight via text or direct message. Jessica Domangue, wow, she was fantastic. Waiting on Congresswoman Julia Letlow to do a little DC Current presented by LABI. While I have a moment, let me remind you about the folks over at Landmark Bank. LandmarkBankLA.com is the website. LandmarkBankLA.com, a community bank since 1897. That is a heck of a long time to remain true to that same mission. And they've grown to different communities. If you want the different, they're in Brugely, they're in Denham, of course, they're up in Zachary. If you want the full list, go to landmarkbank.com, landmarkbankla.com, hit the About Us tab. You'll see the locations and hours right there. But it's to be true to the mission for that long. That's literally half the lifespan of our United States. They've been around for half of America. Learn more at landmarkbankla.com. When you have a local bank, you have a banker. When you have a banker, you have someone you can actually sit down with and just go over the plans. Where do you want to be in 10 years? What are you borrowing for? What are you saving for? Are you opening your kid's first checking account? All these things are important on this level when you talk about having a local bank. When you have someone that you see at the grocery store, in line at carpool. LandmarkBankLA.com. All right, waiting on Congresswoman Julia Letlow. She should be on with us any moment now for DC Current, of course, presented by LABI. Been a fantastic conversation with Congressman Troy Carter for yesterday's DC Current. And I call it a fantastic conversation because a lot of y'all hated me for it. But after the no vote on putting the no vote by House Republicans to put an end to the partial government shutdown, it's hard to push back. One of my points of contention about the partial government shutdown has been, and this is with it being on the Democrats' back, saying, why are you putting one entity ahead of the entire system? And that's what they were doing with ICE. We're going to shut everything else down until you change ICE. Well, the long and the short of that was ICE's funding didn't come from there. And it's like, what are you doing here? It's a completely distracted protest, if you will, if you want to call it that. Well, then you have a compromise come back out and Republicans say no. And I feel like the momentum kind of turned on that front. And as a Republican, I feel like it's my duty to make sure that my party, I hold my party accountable, first and foremost. Can't clean up the other side of the street. So when my party runs afoul of what I'd like to see them do, I got to bring it up. And that's where the conversation yesterday happened. All right. The Congresswoman should be on the phone like any second now, provided we're up and running. But I just got the text that she'll be calling. So anyway, to those that gave the feedback on that last interview, that last segment, thank you so much. We covered a lot of ground there, and the carbon capture debate is not going away anytime soon. In fact, it's going to heat back up again next week. All right, now it is time for DC Current, presented by LABI. Time to welcome Congresswoman Julia Letlow back on. How are you?
Hey, Brian, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing very well. All right, so y'all are in recess right now. Where are you?
I am getting ready to go over to Lake Charles, spend the day with some great people over there, and just out on the campaign trail.
You know what, Congresswoman, we don't talk about the campaign trail. Normally when you're on for this segment, we're talking more about your job as the 5th Congressional District representative. But let's talk a little bit about the campaign. Just give me kind of the makeup of it, of like, this is a statewide campaign. This isn't running in the 5th. Talk to me a little bit about how that's been different so far.
Well, it's given me the opportunity to meet so many amazing new people. You know, my mom has always said, strangers are just friends waiting to be met. And I have found that to be true as I go across every corner of the state. And we are just leaving everything out on the field, going to meet people where they are, listening to their concerns. You know, Brian, one of my main tenets of being a representative is to listen first and speak second. significant. And my goodness, people have been so gracious and sharing with me their hopes and their dreams for the future, for their kiddos. That's exactly what I'm running on. I want this to be a country, the same country for my children, Jeremiah and Jacqueline, that I grew up in. And so just sharing that with people and listening to them and finding out how I can be a better champion for them up in D.C. this last year, but then hopefully into the future as their future senator.
Congresswoman Julia Letlow on with us. Well, walk me through a little bit about how there are different needs in different parts of the state. So what are you hearing on the ground? Like, for example, I would imagine LNG is a pretty hot topic in Lake Charles right now. But what are you hearing based off of where you're at?
Yeah, so this week I spent an entire day in Houma. That was a first for me. You know, I've been down before, but never spent an entire day just listening to the needs. As you can imagine, water mitigation is huge in Houma, and just learning about that and how expensive flood insurance is and property insurance, and, you know, what I can be working on to help with the Corps and making sure that, you know, they have the levee system that they need to make sure that they don't have to worry about flooding again. And then, you know, just making sure hurricane preparedness. So those are all things that I don't hear a ton about when I'm in North Louisiana.
Right.
So it's just been really informative to go to every part of the state, because just like you said, each area has different needs and concerns. And, you know, was able to visit the port, the airport down there. I mean, they're doing amazing things, working with our universities, making sure we have the workforce that we need, working with maritime. So it was really an incredible experience.
Congresswoman Julia Letlow is our guest. DC Current, presented by the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry. Congresswoman, as you're hearing from people around the state, are you able to take away, like, give like real one-to-one application of what you've worked on as a congresswoman and how to make it apply to what they're looking for in a senator?
Yes, absolutely. And that has been such a rewarding part of being on the Appropriations Committee in Congress. That's something that we worked really closely with our mayors, our parish presidents, our elected local officials to see really what their needs are, and then go up to DC, work with them to apply to the committee to bring back funding that is so crucial, whether it's a new water treatment plant, whether it's a new helipad in Bogalusa for their hospital. You know, these are things when I go to bed at night and I think, okay, we did a good job for the people that we represent. You know, I can't help but think back to Luke sharing that you really do have to keep in the forefront of your mind that this is public service. You work for the people, not the other way around. This is my seat. This is the people's seat, not my seat. So it's just been an incredible honor to work hand in hand with people all across the district to make sure that their needs are being met.
Is it that retail? I love it if it is, by the way. Is it that retail to be able to say, this is what we need and you go get it? I mean, we're not normally when we're talking about politics, we're talking about these grandiose ideas and party alignment and but when it comes down to it, the people are what we're here. We're here for governance.
That's right. And it really is so retail. So, for example, one of my rock star mayors in Monroe, Mayor Friday Ellis, you know, sitting down with him on day one 5 years ago, talking about the flooding issues that they had. We were able to work together to update a pumping system to make sure that flooding never happens again. You know, water can be a really scary thing I've learned in my 5 years.
Yeah.
And we have an abundance of it in Louisiana, you know, which is often a good thing, but can also be a very frightening and terrible thing for our residents. So, you know, it's projects like that, Brian, where you just sit down one-on-one and talk about what their needs are, make sure that they have a well thought out plan, a sustainable plan. And then I go after those tax dollars to make sure they come back to Louisiana.
It is amazing. So Friday's pretty amazing, by the way. He comes on. He comes on a lot more than the mayor of Monroe should be on a Baton Rouge morning show.
Right.
But he's kind of doing great things. I mean, he's got his house in order, to be sure, and Monroe's the beneficiary of it.
That's right. And it just goes to show you what great leadership can do and why elections matter. And, you know, I've been able to do the same thing with Mayor Sid Edwards and work on, flood mitigation here as well. So, you know, these are just really good projects that have a direct result for the constituents who I serve and who they serve as well.
That's the third reference you've made to floods in this segment. Is that kind of rising up your charts for your potential priorities as a senator?
It really is. And, I'm worried about our kids not being able to create a life here because insurance is too high and people are moving to Texas. And, I really want to work on issues like that to make sure that people, have the coverage that they need. That's why, I'm holding FEMA accountable, making sure that there's transparency there. It's just, there's so much need, especially, now that I've moved down to Baton Rouge, it's been a little over a year now. That is one of the main concerns that I hear from people, especially in South Louisiana. I guess that's why I'm talking about it so much. It's been top of mind.
Well, but that's kind of the whole point, right? While you have the chance to campaign, while you have the chance to listen, it's got to register as well. Congresswoman Julia Letlow is our guest. This is DC Current, presented by the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry. If you want to learn more about your state's Chamber of Commerce, you can visit them at labi.org. Congressman, while you are on the campaign trail, while you are in recess, you do have to kind of keep one eye back on Washington, D.C. What's the game plan right now as far as the partial shutdown is concerned? Are y'all kind of on call? Do you have to be a moment's notice, arm's length, that sort of thing?
We voted again at 11:30 at night, right before I left. We stayed an extra day because the Senate punted over a bill that was not up to par, in my opinion, and leadership's opinion as well. So we went back to the table, funded DHS and totally, as we have for the last 4 times now, Brian. So send it back over to the Senate. I'm hopeful that they'll come back and take it up again, fully fund DHS. That is what the American people are demanding. They need to do their job, come back, finish it out so DHS can get back to work. And I don't have to go into it with you about how important it is to make sure that we have FEMA up and running at full capacity right now. It's so important to Louisiana, and it is not when it's shut down. So again, I'm back to the table. In the last shutdown, I withheld my pay. I've sent a letter to the clerk to do the exact same thing this time, because if TSA agents and other people are not being paid, it's not right for Congress to receive a paycheck as well.
I'm sorry. Repeat that one more time, because that was the brass tacks of this is you're turning down your pay for right now.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's not right. It is up to Congress to make sure that these employees that come to work every day are getting paid. And Brian, I'm hearing that they can't afford to put gas in their car. They can't afford groceries. So if it's my job to make sure that they're getting paid and we're not fulfilling our role, then I should not receive a paycheck as well.
She is Congresswoman Julia Letlow, out and about on the campaign trail. Lake Charles is the most recent stop. Congresswoman, we always appreciate the time. We'll talk to you in very, very shortly.
Thank you so much, Brian. Appreciate you.
Likewise, always. That it was, of course, DC Current, presented by LABI. Here is your money now.
Hey, Kay,
I think.
are we good? Are they getting a signal? I'm connected. Here. See, it's not called TSM Lafayette Moon. It's Moon Comrades 1.
Yeah,
that's
I
the
changed
one.
it because it just made it a little easier to read as 1 and 2. Yep.
Huh?
Thank you. Can I close out?
Leave that open. Yeah.
Are you bored up in there?
Yeah.
Okay.
more going on in your head than others see. Hopelessness, isolation, everything feels like hopeless. You're constantly hit with these intrusive thoughts.
Joe Teal, who obviously backs the accident injury lawyers on this one, says, now what happens to somebody who's in an automobile accident and it ruins their life? $500,000 is not going to support their family for the rest of their lives. No, 500. This is why I hate that people don't freaking listen when other people talk. You're just ready to talk yourself. The $500,000 is on top of all of that. You're talking about lost wages, right? You're talking about a lost income over the course of their life. That is not part of this. If you're permanently disabled, your lost income is meted out over the rest, or figured out over the rest of what your career would have been. So no, you don't have a right to millions upon millions of dollars if you weren't going to make millions upon millions of dollars. The $500,000 is on top of medical, on top of lost wages, on top of actual physical damages. Alan says, problem is storing carbon capture or storing CC is what will kill argument. I don't know why. Watch this. Watch this. You ready? I just put carbon dioxide into the environment. Anybody the worse off for it? Don't do it. It's literally the air we exhale. Joe Teal again. Carbon capture is a joke, and the only person that loses is the taxpayer. No, the taxpayer doesn't lose. It does not cost you, Joe, a dime. I'm so sick of these so-called high courts overturning our... there we go. The idol worship of the president. He is Christ. I do. But here's the thing. In principle, I agree with this particular post. He's on this one. I'm so sick of these so-called high courts overturning our president and everything that happens in Washington. If that's the case, why the hell do we pay the House and the Senate? That makes everyone in Washington useless, and the country is being run by judges. Interestingly enough, the judge's ruling put things back in the hands of the House and Senate. So the House and Senate that you want doing their job, the judge said they need to do their job on this one. Woo-sa. 855 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Woo-sa.
Brian's getting fired up over here.
No, I'm settling back down. Finding my center. You know what I need? I need a little Kygo music.
You need to do
Kygo.
What is that? The yoga pose.
Yeah, that's
down dog.
So no, if I didn't have I do the like Martin Lawrence in Bad Boys 2, rubbing his earlobe, saying woo-sa. I need some tropical house to dial it down. Because I got to tell you, Breland, I'm a little stressed out. In fact, the folks at Wallet Hub say we are the most stressed out. I shouldn't be asking you to do this because you're going to have to do two things out of the same computer at the same time. No?
Nope. I got that one still open.
Okay, good.
It's coming. There's an advertisement playing.
All right. Which Kygo you got?
Higher Love with Whitney Houston.
That'll work. A new study by Wallet Hub shows that Louisiana is the most stressed state in the country. You got 14, 15, and 16 ready to go? Okay. Wallet Hub analyst Chip. Oh, there it is. Tell you what, pull that down right now. Let it keep playing, but pull it down right now until we're done with the sound bites. All right. And doing this in real time, y'all. I missed rehearsal this morning. Wallet Hub analyst Chip Lupo says of the 4 stress dimensions it looked at, Louisiana ranked in the top 10 in all 4 of them. Cut 14, please.
first in work-related stress, third highest money-related stress, sixth highest family-related stress, and second highest health and safety-related stress.
Yeah. Lupo says when it comes to financial stress, Louisianans tend to pay higher interest rates than those in other states. That's because the state's median credit score ranks so close to the very bottom.
Second lowest median credit score at 675. Now, to put that in perspective, a good credit score is considered between 700 and 749, 750, and up is excellent.
Lupo says one thing that Louisiana does have going for itself is the fact that it doesn't exactly cost an exorbitant amount of money to put a roof over one's head.
To its credit, housing affordability is at 29, so it's right there in the middle of the pack. And good for Louisiana because there's a huge number of high stress factors when it comes to money.
How badly, you bring that Kygo up. How badly did Wallet Hub miss the point here? It's not in what's in front of you. It's in how you deal with it. A laissez-faire, laissez-le-bon temps roulette state. We're not stressed.
We just drink.
Well,
Stress.
so that's probably not good for our health. But yeah, we do. We get together. We throw festivals. We get together with community. We get together with our neighbors.
Right.
We enjoy life. Joie de vivre. All these little French things right here, Cajun French things, that's who we are.
Mais la. Mais la.
That's.
I used to say that in Lafayette all the time. I don't know what it is, but.
Well, it doesn't. Okay. All these little things that go on here, it's how we deal with them. We're about our community. We're about each other. And teamwork makes the dream work, right? Yeah. We have a lower median income. Yes. We have higher insurance rates. Yeah. We don't sleep. I don't sleep. Smash Red Bulls all day long. Probably not good for the health. But it's not about what the individual factors are that they looked at. By the way, they said South Dakota was the least stressed state out there.
Come on.
Can you imagine
There's
living in South Dakota?
do.
I know. South Dakota's low stress. Unless you've got if you've got agoraphobia, you might argue with that. It's Holy Week, y'all. Easter's coming up on Sunday. Who's firing up the pit and boiling crawfish?
Not South Dakota.
Festival season's just around the corner. Tell me we're stressed. You can say we got a lot of things that suck. I ain't stressing about none of it, Hoss. Tell you what I'm stressing about. We got to pack up and get out of here because Moon's next. We'll see y'all tomorrow.